Area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Heating up again on Tuesday. Expect mostly sunny, hot, and muggy conditions throughout the day. South wind breezy at times, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Expect highs in the low 90s. Scattered storms likely overnight. A few may be strong, mainly west of the metro. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Plumrite Time-Saving Traffic Center. Good morning. Right now, roads in the metro are pretty quiet. No signs of any major delays from any accidents, obstructions, or slow traffic buildup currently. Should be a nice day weather-wise, so no weather impacting the roads. I'll get updates to you as the morning progresses. Just stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Grenzer. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Power up your career at IBEW Local 22's Career Fair. Open to all levels in the industry. Several electrical contractors hiring on the spot. Great pay, benefits, and retirement plan. Join us July 17th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Doubletree, 72nd and I-80.
Green State Credit Union is open. They offer better rates, lower fees, and award-winning service. Visit them at 180th and West Maple Road for exclusive grand opening specials. Green State Credit Union, creating lasting value since 1938. Insured by NCUA.
Life's a journey, and it should be wild and free. Leave the city behind and embrace the open road with every twist and turn of the Loess Hills. Feel the thrill of adventure at Loess Hills Harley-Davidson. The ride is the destination. Let the wind whip through your hair as you carve your own path on a brand new Harley. Why settle for city congestion when you can ride the road less traveled? Discover freedom where the land runs wild. Loess Hills Harley-Davidson, where your story begins. Rise up and ride on.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Isn't it funny how a heat wave can cause you so much stress when the AC unit that's supposed to keep you comfortable, well, isn't? Now the issue is finding a service company you can trust. Enter Skradsky Heating and Air Conditioning. Skradsky Heating and Air Conditioning is local, family-owned, and they've served the Metro for more than 70 years. They're known for honesty and reliability, so no worries. Just cozy comfort. Visit heatomaha.com to find out about the Skradsky difference, because comfort shouldn't be complicated.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. 'Tis the season to be weather aware, so when you're camping in a state park or recreation area, even though you have your phone with you, it's a good idea to know where you are from the nearest town for weather watches and warnings, and also to know what county you're in. Plus, it's best to have a severe weather plan in place before the skies turn stormy. It's all part of being safe at the start. I'm Greg Wagner.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
I'm Omaha Athletic Director Adrian Dow, and I want to introduce you to 3 Omaha schools that are playing a vital role in keeping our community strong. We serve nearly 600 pre-K through 8th grade students, most of whom come from disadvantaged neighborhoods. These students receive a values-based education with the family support they need. I'm a proud member of the CUES Fund Board, which supports the CUES school system. To learn more, go to CUES Schools, that's CUES schools.org.
Are you a go-getter with a passion for helping local businesses succeed? I'm Stacey McElligott, Director of Sales at NRG Media, and we're on the hunt for a rockstar multimedia account executive to join our team. If you thrive in a fast-paced, exciting environment, love building relationships, and enjoy creating innovative solutions that drive results, we want to meet you.
All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. It is going up on a Tuesday on the morning after the Big Dumper has claimed 2025. Nothing will top somebody winning a home run derby that has one of the best nicknames of all time, the Big Dumper. Even though his butt isn't as big as it was when he was at Florida State.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I didn't think that his, as someone else who grew up with a pretty big butt, I feel like he didn't have one that
flex.
was
good on you.
I was playing hockey.
Okay.
We all have them.
Yeah.
But I never really looked at his butt and thought, wow, like that's like an insanely looking, ass. I was just kind of like, okay, I get it. He's a bigger dude.
I was a big fan of the old peach emoji.
Now, when he was at Florida State and he was hitting dongs in downtown Omaha, at the College World Series, he was a little bit of a bigger dude.
Do you think his dumper was a little bit bigger then?
You know what? I didn't pay a lot of attention to his dumper. I still don't pay a lot of attention to his dumper.
I think that's...
You a dumper guy on a guy?
On a guy, in terms of scouting, maybe. Maybe if we're like
scouting,
like if we're looking like at hockey players or like football players, maybe you look at the gluteus maximus to see maybe how much lower extremity power.
Yeah, it's a big ass. Back to you, Mike.
Exactly. I mean, that could be a factor, but no, not in everyday situations. I'm just looking and being like,
like at work, you're like
a big butt,
biggest butt.
Yeah,
in the zone.
So if you missed it last night, and probably there were people like, I didn't know the home run derby was going on, and then you're like, you know what? I'm over all these All-Star game things.
Did it go over 4 hours?
I really think that Major League Baseball should bring. No, not really.
It felt long.
I got
the first
pissed at
round.
9 o'clock.
The first round
There
felt long.
are workarounds that I wish they would do, but it has been longer.
Carl Ravitch, maybe Miss Berman.
It's a 3-hour window, and they hit the 3-hour window. I was just disappointed they immediately did not go to the celebrity softball game. But if you were wondering last night, you know what? The only way to make Monday nights of the All-Star game relevant is to have some Tom Amansky drills.
Yeah.
That would be the way to do it. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm turned off to All-Star games, slam dunk, home run derby.
Sure.
And then you start to see guys like O'Neal Cruz hit one 513 feet, and you're like, I'm back, baby. But last night, Cal Raleigh ends up winning, and the winners of the night to me, not only him, which he's having a
And his donk.
which he's having a great year. I mean, he's a switch hitting catcher.
Crazy.
He leads the majors in home runs.
break
If he was
Hamill's
playing at Yankee Stadium, he'd be on the pace for 70. He'd be on the pace for 70 home runs if he was a Yankee. And he's got a name. Just think about the name. First of all, he's from a beautiful part of the country.
Sure.
He's from near Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
His dad was a coach at Tennessee, so his dad's pitching to him last night. Adds even more to the story. But he has a name that would fit perfectly in 1950s Major League Baseball. He'd be like, now batting behind Harmon Killebrew is Cal Raleigh. So he was a major winner last night.
He would be, but he would be Cal like smashing Raleigh or something like that. Like he would have to have like the nickname in the middle.
How about
Oh, he has a nickname.
The big dumper.
I don't know if
the Washington Senators pitcher.
I think a young Vince Scully or Herb Carneal saying, here comes the big dumper, because nicknames were more prevalent back then.
Anything about the name
They
Big
call
Dumper.
him the Big Dumper because if you look at his backside, I mean, it's something like I've never seen before. It's his ability to get all of that power from his butt and get it into the stands.
Right, the derriere money.
See, I don't think back then you could get away with like offensive nicknames and no one would bat an eye.
Nobody talked
Now
about
you
those
say
things.
Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper, and people are like, I don't think that's very appropriate.
See-
I don't think McAfee screaming about his butt is a good thing on national television, but it was a good thing to see him hit dongs last night.
I'm under protest here over his home run derby win. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I had a Brent Rooker plus 1,000 ticket.
Of course.
Is that the guy that was feeding the baby?
No. Yes,
Okay.
that was.
Yeah.
That was the guy who was feeding the baby. It's also the guy who's like having a really good season with the
Exactly. I
the
don't pay
Sacramento
attention.
A's, you know,
Oaklamento.
and who hit 17 homers in the first round of the Derby. Can we not have a swing off? Like, I know it's a long event,
Inches.
but could
It's
we
a game
not
of
like
inches.
Always a game of
also
inches.
too? Like, how do you know? Like, that's my whole thing with all these StatCast things. It's just like how do you know?
They had
like,
to have Big
like,
Dumper go further.
What if one of them hit it on something that was going on a downslope and one of them hit it into the stands and so it actually like kicked back? Like, how do we know that it went 8 inches further? It's just
You
crazy.
sound like a bitter gambler.
8 inches is a lot.
I
Better
just think-
read the pamphlet over there. Mike
just-
will be getting in touch with
I
you
might.
shortly.
I just think it was a
I
little
joined your
dumb
group.
that like we went to a break and they were like, Carl Ravitch was like, we might have a swing off. And I was just like, all right, cool, dope. Like, I'm waiting in the commercial break.
I was okay.
Being
for it.
like, all right, I'm excited for a swing off. And then they come back and they're like, yeah, Raleigh will take on Buxton. And I'm like, what the hell happened? It was 8 inches.
ratings. 8 inches is a lot.
See, I thought it was entertaining last
9
night.
in the humidity.
I know there's a lot of people are picking apart ESPN, and you should have stayed on the stat broadcast and how you cover something like this, which is difficult to cover in
Where
the
was
current
McAfee?
rules.
Was he on 2?
No, he
No.
just
Did
he
the
did
intros.
he did the intros, and
Oh,
then because he's back in studio in Indianapolis today. But not only did Cal be a big winner last night, I think the kid that robbed a home run is also a big winner, and I don't know why he is signed up. Now, all the kids out there shagging flies, when we were young, we wanted to do that.
Mhm.
Now, I noticed they've increased the age.
Oh yeah, they're older. They're
Yeah,
not
little
little babies
kids
anymore.
Like Wander Franco would be having a heyday out in the outfield last night.
Well done.
Okay, but they have like it.
Don't
looks
you
like,
ever look at me
It looks
again.
like high school kids, like like athletes that are out there.
Mhm.
But that kid's a big winner. That kid is a star that robbed a home run. He just forgot about it. But we would all do the same thing because
we would all
used-
do the same thing.
because we used to play that in our backyard. You would play if you had like in my backyard, we had this big wooden fence that was our home run fence
The
on
football?
the baseball field that we played on in my backyard. But we would all pretend like, hey, I'm going to throw it near the top of the fence and you have to dive into the fence. The kid just lost where he was. That was great. And then the other winner last night, Vinny Pasquantino.
Oh my God!
On Twitter.
What happened? Was he drunk? Is he in?
No.
In Cancun?
So during the
This is
season,
awesome.
he doesn't hop on Twitter.
Okay.
Or if he does, it's very, very hit or miss.
Yeah.
So last night he's got a little downtime. Vinny was on fire
So
on
funny.
Twitter last night. That was fantastic. And then he made a comment after Cal won the home run derby, and people got at him. And then he goes, "Hey, I've only got 2 more days on this." It was great. I mean, those were my 3 winners last night. It was a fun night.
So
baseball was fun.
So a couple of comments on your comments. There are very rare moments in life where you can do one singular thing and you will be known for that singular thing and it'll be a part of you forever.
Sounds like Jeffrey Mayer.
That kid stealing the home run, robbing the home run is one of those moments. That was absolutely incredible. It was a good catch. Like now, it would have been so funny if he like literally climbed the fence, to do it, as opposed to he kind of just jumped
Denzel
up.
Clark.
I think they shouldn't have counted it though. I think it would have been.
You're just a bitter.
No, I think
bitter gambler this morning.
No, I'm not.
Once again,
gambler.
he's become me with
I didn't have any
gambling.
skin in the game at that point. All right, Brett Rooker had been eliminated by 7 inches, so I was just kind of watching everything that was going on.
Hey, it's a game of inches. Ask Nebraska against Michigan State in the Big Ten baseball tournament. That's what baseball is. Hey, Pacino tried to say it about football. Yep. It's actually about baseball.
Try telling Pacino that. Hey, by the way, you got it wrong. But no, that was a good moment. Now, about the people who were shagging balls. This isn't. I was thinking this last night before you brought it up. I don't like how they were good. They were good at shagging balls yesterday. Like there were plenty of them
to be bad?
who were. Yeah, I kind of wanted them to be.
That's what
like,
the Rockies are
dropping
for.
The ball,
White
and
Sox.
hitting them in the face, and like things like funny things happening.
There would be times, at Truist Park, they've got a brick part of the outfield wall. So a ball would hit the brick, and it would come like ricocheting with a little exit velo. I was like, oh, some kid's going to take that in the noggin. No, I like it because anybody that's had a chance to do that, I remember when the AAA All-Star Game was out at Warner Park, and they had a lot of like current high school baseball players that were out there. Hell yeah, it's your one time to be on a professional baseball field. You're diving to make catches, and then if the ball is going towards the wall, you go, you know what? This is my chance at fame. I may never get out of Kennesaw State.
You never know who's
I am
watching.
going to be the man at the Home Run Derby in 2025.
So then you talked about people who don't really care about baseball, who just kind of turned on the Home Run Derby.
Yeah,
who were like,
welcome.
oh, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and watch. That happened with Michael Severe and I yesterday, where he just kept texting me over and over again. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is.
What's he
and
do?
I kept having
Yeah,
to
but
explain.
Severe's not a bit. Severe gave up on
Here's
baseball.
the thing. He did give up on baseball, but I thought it was very funny
did
that like you
Montreal.
brought that up. Just like, yeah, I had the experience with somebody who was just like, I just want to watch sports and had no clue what was going on. I did get mad at him though when he did go, who the hell is O'Neal Cruz? And I was like, all right, like you got it. You have to know that one. Like that's
From the
that's-
major market
he's-
that's Pittsburgh?
He's well, I mean,
mean,
he's
O'Neal-
dynamic.
I
enough
know
where
who he
he's
is,
gonna
but
be a
that's not my
star,
point.
You know,
O'Neal Cruz having a bad year.
but and then also too, Cal Raleigh. He was like, who the hell is Cal Raleigh? I was like, that guy might like end up
Well, he
being
doesn't
the
watch
leader.
baseball.
Everybody
So-
likes his ass.
So Severe would be perfect talking on national TV. He'd be a good talking head on national TV because there are very few people. There are actually very few people in radio, unless you live in a major league city, that know how to talk baseball and follow baseball on a regular basis. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Michael's a football guy, but yesterday ESPN didn't even talk about the Home Run Derby. They're 2 morning shows. It's because
shocker.
People on national TV that are talking heads are football people. Okay, football drives. Baseball is a turnoff on national TV unless there is some major thing. Now they'll talk about it today because it was the only thing going on last night. But I love the sport. I grew up in the sport. More people that want to dabble and watch it and learn about it, I'm all for it. I'm not a gatekeeper, but it's the all-star of like, oh man, I'm burnt out. And then you start watching home runs and you're like, I'm on it. And then you start asking questions like, why is the catcher framing pitches in a home run derby?
I think that was a joke.
Is he looking for a strike? No, it happens
that
every
was
year.
funny. That was I saw it. I think Cal Raleigh, his brother, was doing it, which was hysterical. Oh, there was another great moment though, very early on. Jeff Passan was interviewing Cal Raleigh, and he was interviewing the Raleigh family while he was doing it. And then Jeff goes, okay, hey, thanks, good luck, great season, whatever. And he, drops the microphone and he shakes Cal Raleigh's hand, and Raleigh's walking away. And then all of a sudden you see a hand go and hit Cal Raleigh's butt, an attaboy.
Everybody wants to get it.
And for a second, I thought it was Jeff Passan who went and smacked his ass. And I was stunned. I was like, I can't believe a reporter did that. So I went back and I rewinded because I needed to see
Zapruder filmed
the tape.
it. Yeah.
I needed to see it. It was somebody else who did it. It wasn't Passan.
Was it Ken Griffey Jr.?
No, I think it was Raleigh's dad. I think it was before he shook
the original dumper.
Which, by the way, I think before he shook Passan's hand, he smacked his ass and then he shook his hand, which was kind of funny. But I was like, in that split second, I was floored.
Kind of like our meetings here.
How cool, it's already, if you've ever been in like kid pitch and you have to pitch to your kid, how nerve-wracking that can be. How about being your dad at a home run derby throwing to your kid? First of all, it's really, really cool.
Sure.
But also it would be like
stressful.
Yes.
Yes. I gotta make sure that I'm getting this in the strike zone.
I mean, there's some, the batting practice pitcher, and there were a couple of them last night that get scorn of, hey, you got to groove more pitches, you got to speed it up, you got to understand the rules that they have this thing called a timer, instead of just having 10 outs, which they need to change, because if you're going to hit a dong, and I've said this for a long time, if you're going to hit a dong, you should be able to admire it, not have to hit a ball 513 feet and within 3 seconds be taking another swing. Even in regular BP, when a guy hits a missile, they at least look at it, and then here comes the next pitch. I would love for them to go back to 10 outs, kind of modify the rules, because I want people to enjoy a home run. And I think it also would make it easier to cover on TV.
These guys are exhausted at the end of 3 minutes. Like they're exhausted after a minute and a half of just hacking and hacking away and hacking away. And Caminero, when he was in the playoffs, where he started taking pitches at the end because he was trying to save up a little bit, it did add to the drama in a way of being like, when is he going to swing? When is he going to try and launch one? And I think I've always liked the whole 10 outs thing. The pitch limit too. 40 pitches, you only get 40 pitches. I didn't like that as well. If a guy can just hit bombs, regardless of how much time he's taken up, just let him hit bombs. Just let him keep going. It's a war of attrition. I don't know.
Give him an aluminum bat.
And then they changed it again here with the whole, okay, so you're gonna do a who are the top 4 amongst the 8 guys, and then you get into a little bracket thing, which once again, they every 10 seconds they decide to change the rules on this whole thing.
Haven't they done that for a while now?
No, I think it was. I thought it was just bracket at first. They do a 1v8 and then they do a 2 through 7, 3 through for a while they did that, and they seeded everybody based on how many regular season home runs that you hit. So I don't know. That was another thing too, and you said yesterday when we were previewing the Derby, you were like, do you even know the rules to the Derby? I'm like, no, I don't. Not really. But
no, just hit him.
I like
home runs.
I like the guy on field. He works for the Braves that had to explain to every guy coming up what the rules were.
Yes.
And then after they were done and they had the bonus round, he had to explain to him again what the rules were. They should have identified that guy because that guy might have been one of the most important people of the night.
The best part, I think, of the home run derby is
a celebrity.
Is the Latin
Bob
conglomerate. Every time there's a Latin guy who's in the home run derby, he's got a full team of other Latin baseball players who are all speaking Spanish to him and getting in the huddle and hyping him up. I feel bad for some of the American baseball players. They don't have.
We don't hype each other up.
Yeah,
in this
no,
country.
you don't have Kershaw and Freeman and Chris Sale all coming
go
up
get
there
him.
being putting the towel on you and trying to
because I think it's the passion for baseball in Latin America is through the roof.
Oh,
I think it's a big deal for them, and it's also a big deal for all of them. Guys play basically year round with each other because they play in the winter league, or they when they go back home they all live together.
Yeah,
I thought it was nice to have a little band there last night.
Love it. That's one of my favorite
Did you
parts.
see the band?
The band,
yeah, with O'Neill Cruz. It was the Dominicans and Skeens.
Kind of a ska.
That's why
metal.
Vinny Pasquantino's tweet about Spanish when the Spanish-speaking pitchers and then Salvi Perez go to the mound and he stops by. That's why Vinny is one of the winners last night, and he was nowhere near Atlanta, but he would be great to have as like the sideline reporter. Get rid of Passan. Now, also a winner last night is the ESPN announcer who spoke English and Spanish.
That was incredible.
Yeah, and that was because you make those players a lot more comfortable. Yeah. He was the incredible MVP of last night. Now, the non-MVP, because he just triggers people. I wonder if we need more screaming at the home run derby.
Karl Ravech? Is he?
Like I said, he made me miss Berman.
No.
That's probably why I got pissed and went to bed.
I'm not the biggest Karl Ravech fan.
Loved him on SportsCenter.
It's tough to cover that event.
I can't imagine what that truck is like.
Like what you do, just you know what? Introduce the home run hitters, play the anthem, and then just let them go. Play some music once in a while. Pop in with an interview.
Have fun.
I think it's difficult. Like Berman actually had it right when it was back, and we all went, "What the?"
Halfway to Athens.
It's not the easiest thing to do, but do you think that baseball needs more screamers? Named Pat McAfee.
No, God, no. God, I did not.
They don't even need Fred McAfee.
I was not a fan of how they used Pat yesterday. Because I don't think, I really do think that Pat brings some intelligence to the broadcast every once in a while, whether he's on game day or whether he's just, doing his show.
I think he brings a different type of audience that the network is searching for and their advertisers want.
When he's not screaming and just talking ball, he's very enjoyable.
He's very enjoyable. And I think that sometimes they use him as a little bit of a clown, as this big,
he plays
loud,
the bit because they pay him well.
Because they pay him incredibly well and he's going to do his job. But I did not like it when they were just like, hey, you, and we're going to have Ty Schmidt dress up like a doofus again. And we're going to, Ty, also another guy who's great. No. But that's kind of his bit now where he's always dressing like an idiot. And it's just we're just going to have you two scream. And then, which by the way, what a stage. That was an incredible stage they had them pop. I couldn't help but admire it. I thought it was incredible. I'm always a geek for production. I grew up in musicals and Broadway and whatnot. Whenever you could put together something like that, that was awesome. Okay.
They should have left it out there.
You hit it. You're trying to just destroy it.
They should put things on the field where if it's like Topgolf.
Well,
or if you hit something, you get bonus points.
Or Naked Gun, where the car hits the guy at second base.
Have to go over the wall. So, if you hit the fountain in the middle of the center field.
So Mike Farron tweeted out yesterday. He goes, "I'm proposing a good piece of hitting derby." Where it's just guys punching the ball the other way through the infield.
Oh man, and then Tony Gwynn would just.
This is why they need to have a Tom Amansky competition.
Well, I responded to Farron. Single. I replied to Farron. I go, let's put guys in an 0-2 count and see how many pitches they can get before striking out. That would be entertaining.
I'm listening.
That would you got I don't know if you've watched Harry Potter. But in the Goblet of Fire,
watched Harry
they
Carey.
all reach in and they have to pick their own dragon that they're going to end up fighting. They all reach in and they pick a dragon. I could imagine you have 8 hitters and they all have to pick the pitcher that they end up going up against. Damn it, I got Skeens. And another guy's like, I got Bartolo. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be fine. That'd be fun. Be enjoyable. But what do they do with that stage after? Do they just
Goodwill?
Do they just break it down and then they
I imagine it probably belongs to Major League Baseball and they just transport it from
to the next thing.
Well, they got so many events. I mean, maybe that stage shows up in Bristol, Tennessee in a couple of weeks.
Okay, that would be. I mean, I'm just saying that stage is a piece of an American.
I think it's probably. I think it's it probably belongs to Major League Baseball, and they transport it to every home run derby.
Put it in the 18-wheeler.
They kind of whatever advertiser they have, and they redesign it.
I couldn't imagine that for the single A home run derby. Got a dude from a bunch of 26-year-olds from North Carolina who'll never make it to the league or just popping up through that elevator. They're playing his music as he's walking through. No McAfee, though.
Flaky Jake, Truist Field and the Battery popped on television. That ballpark is beautiful. That idea to build basically a baseball city out in Marietta, out in the burbs. Now, the traffic is a pain in the butt if you're familiar with 75 in Atlanta and the traffic in Atlanta. but because that's where the people live are moving to.
Figure
What
it
they
out.
did around there, not only the ballpark, but they built basically a city, kind of like what they did in Foxborough with the Patriots, kind of what the Chiefs want to do. Yeah, that ballpark looked really, really good last
Did it make
night.
you miss Fulton County?
Hell no. But I like Turner Field.
It was.
Like
I
Turner
liked
Field was easy to get to, and
ballpark.
it was downtown. It was on the outskirts of downtown Atlanta. I didn't have a problem with Turner Field at all. Now, if you've seen Turner Field recently, and it's been a while because they've been out at Truist Field for a bit. Georgia State took over and they turned it into a football stadium,
Just
and
good
it's
repurposing.
really, really cool. But the one thing they still have, so they have the spot out in the parking lot because when they built Turner, Fulton County was still standing, so they tore down Fulton County and Turner Field then opened, but they still have the spot in the parking lot where Hank Aaron hit his home run.
Oh, so they have that at Comiskey too, at Old Comiskey, where Old Comiskey was. They have the plate where Babe Ruth like stood too. It's one of like I love like those little landmarks like that.
Mall of America.
Big night for the Chop House. I had no clue that they just had like a fancy ass restaurant in Atlanta.
Well,
Braves
they moved out to
Stadium.
the
It's
bougie
just-
part of town.
No, I mean
it's
it was
right up your alley.
I've always liked it though when you have like Miami, the Miami Marlins Park has that where they have that little like club that's down deep like behind a bullpen, right? That's where Zach Campbell goes to like catch homers and stuff like that. And like during BP, like I've always liked it when they have those little just like kind of like landmarks where you can be like, oh, he hit it to the fountain. Oh, he hit it to the Chop House. It just adds a little character. It's a big night for the Chop House. Had no clue it existed. Now I want to eat there. I want to have a nice steak while I watch the Braves score 2 runs against the Philadelphia Phillies.
I mean, you can go back to what was it? TGI Fridays was in Arlington, and before they moved to Globe Life, out in right field, they had Kansas City used to have
HSIOW.
Kansas City down the left field line used to have the K Club for the longest time, where you could go in there and sit at a table with a tablecloth and eat dinner and watch the Royals play.
I'm telling you, I think Chili's is missing a really big opportunity. Can you imagine if they put a Chili's in a ballpark? If you get the triple decker appetizer while your favorite team is losing.
I imagine there's got to be somewhere where a
Red
Chili's
Robin's
or an
is your- Oh,
Applebee's.
I go with you.
Because the TGI Fridays we would frequent. We'd go down there for the Big 12 baseball tournament because it was overlooked the field in right field, and if you paid up, you could get one of the seats that were right next to the glass.
God,
But the
Applebee's.
ballpark in Atlanta is fantastic.
Can you imagine
The
if they
team
put,
playing there is not very good this year, though.
they put a PF Chang's in center field? It'd be incredible. They just put a bunch of I wouldn't mind at all if they put just 6 fast food restaurants.
Guys
in the
naming
outfield.
chains.
They just turn the concourse into like a little outdoor mall that you can.
Well,
go
like
into.
if you go to Target Field, they have Red Cow is in straightaway center field.
Red Cow, is that like a
You use your red card.
Local.
Okay.
Get
They got,
5% off.
the thing at like most ballparks, they'll go local. They'll lean into the local establishments. The other thing about McAfee last night, and I know he's not for everyone, but he's good for ESPN, and people will stop you on the street and say, "Hey, we need more McAfee." What if he would have messed up because he was getting all excited about O'Neal Cruz?
Oh,
What if he would have messed up because he almost said the Steelers?
that would have been incredible. Honestly, that would have been I wish he messed up. That would have been a great moment.
That would have been awful for Major League Baseball.
The baseball Steelers.
That would have been
Really,
terrible
you think
for
it would
baseball.
have been bad for baseball?
Well,
I
because
feel like-
baseball fans already don't want McAfee in their sport.
Sure.
And then while he's announcing and screaming at you,
He looked like
he
a
says
clown.
the Steelers.
So, like,
Maybe it
I
is a good
feel like
thing I
it
missed
would have
He was-
looked way worse for McAfee than like the league itself. And then I think McAfee would have ended up being like MLB would have been like, "That's it, we don't want you anymore." Like, because you're clearly a football.
Well, I
guy.
think if you're a baseball fan, you'd be livid because you're very protective of your sport, and they bring in some football guy to announce baseball, and he calls the Pirates, who just didn't show up yesterday, the Steelers.
Did you
They would
see?
have lost their mind.
Did you see Jeff Passan, low-key big dog, the face of the WWE yesterday?
I did not.
Where Cody Rhodes. So first off, Cody's from Atlanta. He's from Atlanta, but like I don't know. Atlanta's never been like a holy crap, we love like insane for Cody Rhodes type deal. They had him like walk down center field like he was like making an entrance, and the pop just wasn't really there. And then they had him hand a championship belt because WWE is making all these different
Just have
championship
Chipper
belts
walk out there.
to Cal Raleigh, and he's walking up to Raleigh, and Raleigh's still talking to Passon, and Cody's trying to hand him the belt, and Passon's looking at him like, I'm still doing my interview, man. So Passon locks eyes with him and goes, and Raleigh's done answering the question, and Jeff asks him another question, and Raleigh answers the question, and Cody Rhodes is just standing there with this belt, just looking at Passon, being like, all right, I guess I have to get out of the shot because Raleigh's still doing an interview. I was so
I don't know who
impressed with
this
Jeff.
is.
Jeff just looked one of the baddest men of the planet in the eyes. It was like, I don't give a damn what belt you have. I got a question I got to ask.
Talking to a baseball guy.
I know.
At a baseball park.
Yeah,
Because I'm a baseball guy.
I would love to have an interview with Jeff Passon and be like, do you know who that blonde hair guy in that very nice suit was? Because I don't think he
nope,
did.
Don't care.
I think he had no clue who Cody Rhodes was. I think he was just like, okay, cool, you have the belt. I got to ask him about his family. Got to ask him about his brother catching behind the plate, who looks like a really good athlete.
Little Dumper.
That's got to be tough, though. To like have that as like your Little Dumper is your nickname, you know?
Well, then you got to work on it. Get it big.
Is that really his nickname?
I hope not. I hope for his sake it isn't. I hope he has his own nickname.
Bigger
you know?
Dumper one day.
I mean, that'd be kind of traumatizing as a 15-year-old to be called the Little Dumper.
I'd just be
better
like,
than no dumper.
I'd be like, first off, it's not that small. Second off, you know, I'm my own man. You don't have to like just be uncreative.
I'm only 15. Give me a few years.
Yeah, no.
All right, coming up on the show, Sam McEwen is back.
Boys, is Twitter broken?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I cannot log into art.
I don't know. I have a hell of a quote from Chael Sonnen that just popped up on my first tweet that I see is Chael Sonnen. I can't stop staring at Conor McGregor's DICK. I can't stop. I've stared at this thing for the last 2 hours.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Sam McEwen will stop by coming up at 7:30. Brian Christopherson's in at 9. Lineup brought to you by the Roof Freeze at John Higgins Weather Guard. It is the All-Star game today. It is the middle of the year. It's all uphill from here, boys. After tonight, then sports is real again. It is football with sprinkled in some baseball, some hoops. Plus, when we come back, there is, I got to give some advice to a particular football organization that might need to go to a men's medical clinic.
Oh, what?
We'll get into that when we come back. Again, Sam McEwen back. We got lots ahead of Big Ten Media Days in Vegas coming up next week. It's Gary and Matt with Jimmy, 1620 The Zone. All right, sometimes X can be just a cesspool, and you doom scroll, and you're like, this is the world is horrible. The world actually is okay because we have the All-Star game tonight for us baseball people. But we have
normal uniforms.
Yes.
Let's not forget, you're going to be able to know where your favorite players are.
Okay,
Yes.
I saw PCA's Cubs uniform.
Oh, give me some PDA for PCA at the All-Star game. That's all I'm asking for.
Public displays of affection.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Yes.
PDA for PCA. That's a new one.
That could be a Facebook group 20 years ago.
I can get on board with that. It looked a little, his jersey though, I don't know. Maybe my eyes are going because I've grown up
already.
I've grown up in the era where it's like every night before I go to bed, I'm looking at my phone for the last 15 years, or looking at an iPad or looking at a computer. So I feel like my eyes definitely could be like, drying up quicker than usual.
Could have an endorsement
but
for you
like
down
a
the lane.
slightly, I don't know. It looked like a slightly different color or like a different type jersey. Like I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. It doesn't look like.
Oh, I know why
Cubs
you were
uniform.
thrown off. Because he was wearing with the home uniform.
Yeah.
He was wearing, all the Cubs at the All-Star game were wearing the red Bills.
Oh.
So that's why you were thrown off, because they wear that hat with the road uniform.
There you go. That's a great point.
But I wouldn't mind them wearing it with the home uniform.
I like the Red Bills. I'm cool with it. I've always been a fan of it. I just looked at it. It looked a little different, but that patch on the Cubs uniform, that All-Star game patch,
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a patch. Like if you put any patch, you laugh, but you know what I'm talking about. If you have like a specialty patch on your jersey, I'm immediately like, I will pay more money to have that jersey. World Series patch, All-Star game patch, Little League, when they do the Little League World Series patch. Or like when they had the number 10 Santo patch, like on the little left side, that was sick. Or they did it for Ernie Banks too. Love You've never heard anyone say that before, that they like a good patch?
I mean, I'm okay. Like the one that gets debated the most is the Nebraska uniform with the football patch.
But I don't think that's like a
I'm okay.
specialty thing.
I mean,
Like,
maybe I'm a
think
little bit. I got
just-
bad memories of being a Cub Scout and a Weeblo, and you got all the patches.
I thought you said Cub Scout for a second. I thought you meant for like the team. Then at one point you were a scout for the Cubs.
No.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing
Hey,
here?
two quick things on the Cubs. So yes, PDA for PCA.
Yep.
Tonight is two things hit me yesterday, and it was just in conversation with somebody. Did you know that Craig Counsell's son played baseball at KU this past year?
No.
He was their starting shortstop. He transferred from Minnesota. He got drafted yesterday.
By the Cubs?
No,
Okay.
I think Arizona.
Okay. Good for him.
So
that was cool.
I didn't, it didn't even dawn on me because KU played here that Craig Counsell's kid, Brady, was playing shortstop. And then the other one is, do you know who the Cubs strength and conditioning coach is?
No. I used to be able to see his.
Now
no.
it's different from Tim is not with the Cubs anymore.
Yeah, I see the old Cubs strength and conditioning coach's face in my mind right now. Who's their current?
So the game on Sunday at Yankee Stadium, I think they showed. I think it was Pete Crow Armstrong was in the dugout because they were talking about him on the MLB Network broadcast, and he was on the railing next to the guy that is the strength and conditioning coach. And I went, wow, that guy looks really familiar. Mark Wiseman. Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
Now, for Big Ten football fans, it will. He is the famous fullback from Iowa. Mark Wiseman is the strength and conditioning coach for the Cubs.
That's sick. He looks like, I'm looking at him right now. He's a big guy.
He looks like a fullback.
He's a big human being. I thought you were going to say Tommy or David Spanos or Northwestern strength and conditioning coach for a second.
No, I have to be honest. The only time I've ever probably thought about the strength and conditioning coach at Northwestern was probably this time 2 years ago.
When he had the cut off sleeves and he was
when everything was being mentioned about Pat Fitzgerald.
Oh, sure.
Other than that, I don't know that I could name 3 strength and conditioning coaches in college football across the country.
I could. Corey Campbell.
Okay, there's one. That would be the given.
Duval, and Northwestern Spanos. and I only know their last name.
So the guy at Ohio State's been there forever.
That
His
would
name
be
is
a
Jeff.
really-
I think it's Jeff Robinson.
think that
Is the
would-
guy at Texas? Big friggin' dude. Now the mustache guy that used to be at Oregon was just recently at Miami, and he's not there anymore.
Wouldn't that be a fun game? Is like how many assistant coaches in college, football, can you name that you can just go down the line and just see how many?
No, I
you
don't think
can
it'd be
tick
good
off?
for radio.
No, it would be terrible for radio, and it'd be bad for me because I think I would only get like 9 outside of Nebraska. But I think it would.
Well,
be,
I think you get more.
I don't know. I typically underestimate myself when it comes to that stuff, but I feel like a lot of like knowing assistant coaches means that like they have to be good or great for a very long time, and like do their job really, really well. And then typically those guys who do that don't have that job for a very long time. But I will want to say this: no respect for Kyle Tucker in the 7th in the lineup is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not gonna, but I'm not
All-Star game.
I'm not gonna be that guy that gets, upset of like where my players are hitting in the all-star lineup. But I don't think there's ever been a better turnover the lineup guy, maybe in the history of baseball, than Pete Crow Armstrong at the 9th spot. You're telling me you're going from PCA, who's playing the way he's playing, then you turn it over to Shohei Ohtani. That would be that's absolutely incredible.
I'm okay with PCA and Kyle Tucker hitting 7th and 9th because there's a possibility they could play 3 innings. And if we get 3 innings in the outfield of PCA, I will take that every day in an all-star game. So I'm okay with that.
He's going to make a highlight play today. And then they won't talk about it on ESPN the very next morning. They'll probably just show the clip and they'll be like, "Oh, who cares about this guy?"
Oh, no. We are in the full PDA for PCA.
Well, I'm saying that Get Up and First Take is full into talking season. They did you see their Patrick Mahomes segment? Is Mahomes still the best quarterback in the NFL? Yes, he is. Let's please move on. Let's please move forward.
Sam McEwen's coming up here in the next hour. So yesterday, the SEC Media Days began in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Sankey said his words. We talked about strength of schedule. We talked about conference. Play 8 or play 9. We'd like to play 9, but we're going to wait until the playoff. And I'm okay with 12. Now, I was a big proponent of 4 because I think we got the 4 right, and then we got the 12 right. But money rules the world, and so we're apparently going to 16. But I like this standoff that is going on between the Big Ten and the SEC to determine what the next iteration of the playoff will be. Now, what I did find interesting yesterday is once the new TV contract starts with ESPN, they can change the format.
Yeah.
So there's this deadline of December 1st that's for a change for next year. They have to have it approved and all of that kind of stuff. But once, like, let's say next year you stick with 12.
Sure.
And I actually would like to see, a couple of years of 12 with straight seating, like we're going to have, and see what that does.
Sure.
Okay, because I think we got the 12 right, and we kept out the teams that did not deserve to be there. But if I'm thinking about the SEC and watching some of the stuff yesterday, they need to go to a medical clinic. Men's medical clinic, that's where the SEC needs to go.
What do you
They
mean
have
by that?
an enormous amount of all the nonsense they're spewing about scheduling and them against the Big Ten. Do they not understand that they have more pressure to perform than any conference this year?
1,000,000%.
That's hello.
Because if the Big Ten wins another national championship this year, or gets 2 of the 4 in the Final Four of college football, they can, Petiti, despite the fact that he doesn't really want to, can indefinitely stand up on the Hill and be like, "Hey guys, this isn't like just it happened 2 years in a row. Here's the scientific method. We've done it 3 times now. We've won 3 of the last national championships. We've been at the top of the heap for the last 3 years. This is our sport. We make the decisions. We're the power brokers. Nothing moves without us." But I think it's incredible. I think Sankey was incredible yesterday. I just think, like, when he said to a reporter yesterday, "We're totally fine with 12. Like, we want to keep 12. We don't have to go to 16. We're totally fine with just sitting here and doing what we are. We're the SEC." Like, he kind of provides that maybe confidence that Petiti should have, but he hasn't. And now people look at him as being in the power chair because of it.
Oh, I think he's the most powerful man in college athletics.
Yeah.
If the SEC, even with adjustments to the playoff, don't go to 9, that shows you That gives even more
Well,
power to Sankey.
he-
So I think he was Greg Sankey yesterday. I actually thought he was not as boastful as he's been in the past.
He said yesterday, though, that, like, you know, in terms of going to 9 conference games, he was like, well, everybody in our conference plays 9 power games. This year, 12 of the 18 Big Ten teams are going to play 10 power conference or power games. So that's not the point. The point isn't that you're not playing 9 power games. The point is that you're not playing 10 like Michigan and Nebraska and Ohio State and all those other teams.
Yeah, he got. I think he got USA Today. I think fact checked him on a couple of things. Yeah,
that's
All of
incredible.
a sudden, Sankey's on CNN, and they got the fact checker.
I was about to say,
is, there.
There was nothing better than when CNN would go and do the fact check on Trump after the debates. I'm not political. I just thought it was really funny when they would do that. And then one time somebody put the NFL, like the fastest 2 minutes or fastest 3 minutes in the NFL over the fact checking. It's one of the greatest Twitter videos ever.
All right, Sam McEwen's coming up here in a little bit. We're going to do an experiment, speaking of the SEC, when we come back at the top of the next hour. But I was going to make the point about have fun on X.
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin. So 10 days from now, Happy Gilmore 2 comes out. They started to really promo it last night.
Yes. It looked like a good commercial. I actually give them a ton of credit.
Better than Naked Gun.
I want to. I have
Why?
no
We didn't
interest in
need that.
Well,
The
you're going to
first
watch.
one's
You're
amazing.
going to watch it, but you have to go in going, man, this is going to be terrible.
Have you seen The Accountant yet?
I have not.
What
Been a
are
little
you
busy.
doing?
Been a little
Come
busy.
on.
But so Subway is going to be the marketing arm for Happy Gilmore.
Wow.
And they've started to do like the Happy Gilmore cups. So Shooter McGavin and Bryson DeChambeau are in a commercial that started airing last week. Shooter McGavin, which is a great Twitter account at Shooter McGavin
He's been
_
a great Twitter account.
he is responding to Subway. So Subway tweeted yesterday, dude is crashing out. Shooter McGavin quote tweets it, says the company putting my face on a cup. You never sell any without me. And then Subway responds, you're not even the number one villain. Even Hal's cup is more coveted. Shooter McGavin
Please tell me
responds,
he went there.
big talk from a sandwich chain. You make bread for golfers. I make bread golfing.
I went to Subway yesterday.
He didn't drop a Jared joke because those things are just, they write themselves.
No.
Like, if
That
you're
would
going to
be-
insult me,
that'd be
Subway,
really
then.
bad
I think
for
if
the
you're
movie.
being paid to be a
Okay, yeah.
representative, you
This is very
cannot
tongue-in-cheek.
go there.
Okay.
The Subway on Dodge has a drive-through, and I've never been through a drive-through Subway before,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I know that this is probably inefficient. Like, I know that this is probably a bad idea, and I'm probably much better off walking in, smelling the smell of Subway,
But
and
you
ordering.
won't smell like it after.
But I wanted to try it off of like the off chance that it could be quicker, that it could be more efficient. It was not. It was not. Don't look.
What did you
walk
order?
into your I got the
Your
cold
usual?
cut.
Yeah.
I got my cold cut.
It's
my
been like
12
foot-long
inch-
meatball.
My foot long cold cut, and it took like
And you were probably let down because it's Subway.
it took a good 13 minutes. Just me sitting there. Like, and I was like,
Yeah,
I
don't
know that.
Why
This
would you
was-
have a drive-through for a sandwich
Okay,
shop unless you
that's-
order ahead?
That's
Chipotle has a
exactly-
drive-through, but it's just to pick it up.
Just
You
to pick
order
it
it
up.
on the app.
That's exactly what I thought, but I thought there's no way that this could be good. So why would they have it? So they have to have it because it's good. Like, I was reverse psychologizing.
And guess what?
And it was not good. It wasn't good at all.
See, I've always wondered why like a Lighthouse Pizza has a drive-through.
It takes
It's
a
very popular.
It's very good.
But
See-
you order and it's going to be another 5-10 minutes before you get your slice.
See, but I had never seen a sandwich shop with a drive-through. So it was just one of those
You
things.
should try
where I was
Lighthouse.
just like-
Garlic
I was
fries?
just tempted. I should try Lighthouse. I need to find.
Shout out Nick Grimm. He's the one who introduced me to it.
There's the Lighthouse Pizza and then there's the Lighthouse Bar.
Okay.
Don't get confused.
I'm probably more so-
one is known for their pizza and their French fries, and the other is known for when the lights go out.
I don't know if
On their side of town.
I don't know. Somebody took me on a bar tour once, and I don't remember if we went there or not.
Must have been a great tour.
Well, we
Or
went
a
to the
great
Homie
night.
Inn. I remember that. That was enjoyable.
But the fact that you don't remember anything afterwards?
No,
must
I
have been-
don't. Well, we were at Red
Did-
Lion
did you
for
get-
way too long.
Did you get roofied?
No.
Oh, I know who you were with.
Yeah.
A little shady character.
We were there for way too long. I was like
I could-
falling asleep.
I
at
could
the
see
table.
him slipping something into your drink.
No, he did not slip anything into my drink.
Oh,
It's just I had to take a nap that day, and I'd been up for 22 hours at that point.
All right, Sam McEwen's coming up in the next hour on Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. Do you think the Big Ten next week at Mandalay Bay will have this band in their hometown as the concert for the Big Ten Media Days?
Michigan fans would like it.
They would.
I'd like
Is there
it.
going to be a concert for the Big Ten Media Day?
Like there should be. You're in
Should be,
Vegas.
yeah.
Yeah. There are going to be showgirls.
Wayne Newton.
There's going to be stuff on the Sphere.
They should get Adele.
Maybe the Killers will be there.
No, they should get
Get
Adele.
little slips.
Is she still in Vegas? Is she still doing her
Adele?
Adele?
No, I
Resident-
believe that she is done.
Oh, damn.
Because
Somebody's doing a
because
residency.
her husband is busy with his client.
clients, but in particular the one client who apparently has I'm sick. We don't have to talk about him, but I'm sick and tired of him.
He was at the Summer League game last night that his son had 17.
I loved LeBron growing up. It's been a really rough 3 years.
Her
if
husband's
you've been
LeBron's agent?
LeBron, ride or die.
Adele's husband is Rich Paul.
Yes.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. No, they're a power couple.
How about
They're
that?
an incredible power couple. But I feel like that would be an incredible power move.
Rumor
if the
doesn't
Big
have
Ten had Adele perform at their Big Ten Media Days. Like that'd be like, you think you're the best conference? We got Adele. Like that's just the ultimate. So here you go.
Respect to him.
That or like maybe getting Ozzy Osbourne.
For the Big Ten?
Just be like, hey,
That'll
I
go
know
well.
you said you already did your last performance, but what if you did your very, very, very last performance?
We don't need to walk around with stone shoes, okay? We need to be progressive. We need to have
We need
like
to be
Kendrick
adaptable.
Lamar.
Okay, how about
perform.
Sabrina Carpenter then?
Okay.
How about Tate
Now
McRae? You
now
turned me on to
Hey,
her.
what about Morgan Wallen, who was just in Miami over the weekend?
I don't think that would be the best look.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, that's more SEC
Now,
where they
the
can
damn
get away
shame,
with
'cause
those
Luke
things.
Combs-
Hey,
Luke
yes,
Combs
it
made-
is. Yes, it is SEC because he's a Tennessee guy. But if he shows up to sing for the Big Ten,
that's how you know the Big Ten
not only we
pockets
have
would be
back
deep.
to back, now we just took your number one artist.
That'd be incredible. That'd be a coup if we're being honest. If the Big Ten found enough money to like get Morgan Wallen to sign out or sell out, because you got to imagine. That
Well,
Morgan,
he's played.
They do look the other way. on things.
I don't think he's played in an SEC stadium this tour because he was Houston, Camp Randall, and then to Hard Rock. I don't know where he's going next. Well, he's at US Bank Stadium, so he was. No, was he at US Bank Stadium?
I think
in the past he was, but he was just recently at Camp Randall. So win for the Big Ten.
that guy has
Guy's the-
alligator blood. The fact that he has been canceled and uncanceled so many times, and then on top of that,
Once again, SEC,
he
they don't care.
walked out with Brett Favre at Camp Randall.
I rest my case.
You're in, who did he walk out with? Jason Taylor the other night, which
That's not bad. I like that. Love Jason.
he asked him about his sister.
No.
Okay.
He's in Glendale, Arizona for 2 nights
Okay.
this weekend. And then he goes to Lumenfield.
Seattle.
And then he goes to Santa Clara and Levi Stadium.
Okay, so he's going to do the Pac-12, Big 12 tour.
He's kind of
That's this leg of the.
He's working around. He's working in a very
the-
weird, Then he goes to Huntington. He goes to Cleveland. Then he's in Massachusetts. Like this is a very strange.
He is a man
path.
of the people. He's the hottest artist out there.
Right now, I don't know. Beyonce is pretty damn hot right now with her concerts that she
always
I don't have a lot of crossover between Beyonce concert goers and Morgan Wallen.
Well, they're both country artists.
Maybe the females, not the males. The females, I could see crossover.
The fact that Beyonce won all of these country album awards really made me mad. I wasn't really the big
One like Waylon.
No,
Merle.
it wasn't at all.
Conway Twitty.
And we had this
darling.
discussion before that all the barriers have been knocked down about what is country, pop, top 40.
And that's why Zach Top is bringing it back. He's old school. He's a young man. He's doing it right. He's making like true, steel guitar, ukulele, acoustic.
I should go listen.
Type
What's his
country
name?
music. Zach Top.
Related to Carrot?
I don't think he is, but that would be great for him.
not-
Talk about being born on third base.
Not close. Slip in a little Zach Top and Riley Green.
Oh, Riley Green's hot too.
All right, Sam McEwen. Some will say they get hot at Sam. He's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Big Ten Media Days next week. Day 2 of the SEC Media Days. I have no idea who's going to be there, and I will tell you a little bit later about my views on Media Days. But something happened yesterday that dawned on me. that I knew but didn't know about LSU's struggles in openers.
Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, Texas today.
Okay.
That's good
All
foresight.
right, not bad. So Brian Kelly was speaking yesterday, and listen, if LSU wins at Clemson and they get to take the title of Death Valley, they're right in the mix to be in the playoff. And it's very similar, like 21, Georgia and Clemson played a game right at the beginning of the year. Georgia beat Clemson, and the rest was history. But it didn't, until Brian Kelly started talking about it, didn't dawn on me that they have gone 0-5 in their last 5 openers. But I think that we should at least give credit, in this whole schedule and strength of schedule discussion. We should at least give credit to LSU for playing tough games to begin the year. Now, one of them was the COVID conference game. But they've had, UCLA, Florida State, they did the series where they played at the Superdome and they went to Orlando. And then last year they played USC. And now this year they're going on the road to play Clemson.
It's a tough game.
I give credit to LSU for playing a tough opener. But you damn well better win it this year, because if you lose 6 in a row and what Brian Kelly would be 0-4, I'll be tuning in to the folks on 104.5 in Baton Rouge to hear how they. No, he's at Barstool now. He left.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I good on LSU for opening up with a good, sexy non-con game.
So before Brian Kelly made it to LSU, the last time he had lost an opener to begin the year was against Texas in 2016. And that was the year that Notre Dame was bad. They went 4-8.
Joe Test said Texas was back.
So I knew that they were bad.
That's right.
They were not.
That was the game.
Charlie Strong lost to Kansas 10 weeks later.
That's right. That was the Sunday night game.
They left his ass at the airport in Topeka.
By the way, nice pickup of Jaden Doss yesterday.
Yeah.
A good place close to home for him.
He chose a better place than K-State, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I don't mean that, no.
Well, Mizzou is KU's rival, according to Lance Leipold.
He's right. F those guys.
LSU playing
Get your Red
tough
Sox
games
ready.
opening up to begin the season. I do think that, to their credit, you are in an era now where you can lose in week 1 and you can be okay and you could be totally fine. Like, honestly, if Notre Dame proved anything last year, it's if you lose really early in the season, it really doesn't matter what happened, as long as you show that, hey, you could play really good football at the end and that you can prove that you're clicking. Because I do think that with Alabama and South Carolina and Ole Miss and these SEC teams who lost some of these bad games, if they had won, if they didn't lose them so late in the season, right? And let's just say, for the sake of hypothetical, Alabama lost their first 3 games of the season, but that they won 9 games in a row.
Well, how much pressure is on Alabama to make the playoff this year with Ty Simpson at quarterback?
Look at the SEC and how much pressure is on all of those teams. South Carolina has pressure to play well this year and make the playoff, despite the fact that they're losing 50%.
I think Alabama's is more.
Diego has pressure.
I think Alabama's
South
making
Carolina,
the playoff.
Ole Miss has pressure. Alabama has pressure. LSU has pressure. There's top to bottom. And then, you got to throw in, these guys are going to be good again with Georgia and Tennessee.
But I don't think there's anybody else. Georgia and Texas are kind of like the given. They're going to make the playoff again. But Alabama can't go 2 years under DeBoer and not make the playoff with the kind of recruiting class that they have coming. They're watching recruiting. I think, if you're a school like Nebraska, holding a couple of spots for late flips or decommits because coaches get fired or money is not there is going to be a very wise move. If you think you are who you are and you have a good season and you get to November and Lincoln Riley is gone, or there's some other big name coach that is gone, and all of a sudden the recruiting class, and USC's recruiting class seems like a house of cards to me with the financials that are involved and the amount of prospects that are in that class. Now, if they all stick together, watch out.
Yeah.
But I'm not so certain. I would hold a couple of spots for some activity, late in the year. The flip season and decommits could be wild when we get to November.
What'd you say back when? Play the bounce back?
Yeah. But, there are some that you just lost that you lost because of money. But think about, we are seeing early coaching changes where you want to get a head start. So I'm all into that. But if you're Alabama and your recruiting class and they're recruiting like Alabama recruits, you have to make the playoff this year in year number 2, or it will be very, very uncomfortable. But speaking of that, the road to the playoff, let's play a little game.
Okay.
Because all I heard yesterday was schedule. And you know what? The Big Ten has back-to-back national championships. I know you can pick through the fact that Indiana didn't play a team over 500 until the first week in November. You can look at the fact that Penn State and the non-con played an 0-12 Kent State team. And if you look at the last 3 games of Penn State's conference schedule,
yeah,
okay, even Oregon's road schedule, okay, you could pick through that. But you know what? When it's time to go, the Big Ten has won back-to-back national championships. So shut your face. But I want to play a little experiment here because I listened to the LSU quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, talk yesterday, and they got the people down there in the SEC country. Okay, they all get together.
Yeah.
Okay, before they show up at media days, they've got these talking points. Nobody as good as us. Nobody would want to play a schedule like us.
Read the pamphlet. Read the pamphlet. Read the high points.
So let's do this. Take one team off Nebraska's conference schedule.
Do we get to pick the replacement?
Okay, well,
I'm between Penn State and Iowa.
Okay, take one team off.
Penn State.
I'll take Penn
Okay,
State.
what do you think Nebraska's record would be in the Big Ten this year without the team you just eliminated? You'd have 8 games. What's their record?
Their record would be 6-2.
Okay, 6-2 with that schedule. So let's do this. Because you old Greg Sankey and Garrett Nussmeier say nobody can play in the SEC. Well, you know what? Nebraska actually kind of fits better in the SEC than they do in the Big Ten.
Sure.
So let's bring Nebraska to the SEC.
They would fit. Wouldn't it? Nebraska at LSU Saturday night.
So
I'm gonna need a cigarette.
the equivalent, I'm going to say, just on the preseason power ratings going into 2025 is Auburn.
Okay.
So you say Nebraska goes 6-2 in the schedule that you just laid out.
Yes, losses to Michigan and USC.
Let's play Nebraska in 2025 playing Auburn's conference schedule at Oklahoma.
I don't loss.
At
That's
Texas
close.
A&M.
Win.
Yeah, Aggie gonna
Win.
Aggie. So I'll say
Home
that.
game against Georgia.
Loss.
Great drone show though.
So
Great
now
game.
Nebraska's 1-2 playing Auburn's conference schedule. Mizzou
win.
at home.
And then they defecate on the 50-yard line at Faroe Field.
Actually be a home game,
But they go there anyway during the week.
Defecate
Field
on
trip.
their own field. They take a crap on their own 50.
Take this to your 50-yard line.
Well, what game would you like to pick? It's actually happened. At Arkansas.
Win.
Tough, but win.
Okay. So Nebraska's 3-2 playing Auburn's 2025 conference schedule. Kentucky at home.
Win.
4-2.
Against the Stoops, like old
At
times.
Vanderbilt.
So this would be like the Minnesota.
Oh,
like,
no.
away
At
games here.
Vanderbilt.
Because, because I feel like Nebraska is better than Vanderbilt and could beat Vanderbilt on the road. But I think this would be a game
Like
that
a
they
37,
would lose.
34.
Yeah.
Like, how did they?
Yeah, how'd they blow that one? 4-3.
Alabama.
Where is it? Not that it matters. I'm just
This
curious.
year it's at Jordan Hare.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So
No.
So in this case, it's in Lincoln.
Loss.
Okay, so that would be 4-4.
See, I don't think I proved Sankey's point, though, because if you look at Nebraska's schedule, they play easier away games than Auburn does. Like, they go away for UCLA. They go away for Maryland. They go away for for Minnesota, where I don't think Minnesota is going to be that great this year. Where
Houston Christian
Auburn,
already fits that
Auburn,
SEC non-con.
Like, this is a pretty, like, on the road for like A&M, like, that's tough. On the road for Oklahoma, that's tough. On the road for Arkansas, that's not easy. On the road for Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt probably did a better job than anybody yesterday hyping up their own team and how they're going to play.
So
I think that rolls into it.
One of the talking points was nobody would like to trade their schedule. Well, let me just point out something.
So 8-4.
So Missouri, on their entire schedule, they play 3 teams that won 8 or more games last year. There are 2 teams in the Big Ten that I think immediately would say, yes,
Sure.
we would swap with you. Rutgers.
Yeah.
And then Wisconsin. So 7 of Wisconsin's 9 conference games are against teams that went at least 8-5 last year.
That is awful.
Wisconsin would be probably better off
Isn't there only
swapping and picking up an SEC conference schedule than they will this year in the Big Ten.
Well, also the SEC cherry picks in terms of what schedules they show.
Yeah,
Because Oklahoma's schedule
But
last
isn't that
year,
what makes college football and these petty
No.
arguments so great as we
Oh, a
cherry
million
pick?
%.
Because I could cherry pick the Big Ten from last year.
Oh, big time.
I just did. I told you about Indiana. I told you about Penn State.
You just
Oregon.
cherry
Yes.
picked Wisconsin just
Yes.
right now. Absolutely.
So that's the beauty
Here's-
of these arguments and discussions before we actually start playing games. Is you could take any of these facts and spin it
Well,
whatever way you
it's-
want.
Well, this is PFF and this is analytics. Because analytics only works for you when it works for you. That's my opinion of analytics and stats. When analytics doesn't work for somebody, they go, "Well, you got to trust your eyes. You got to trust your eyes." I mean, come on. I mean, this isn't about computers and this isn't about nerds and this is about numbers. Look at what he's doing. But if you find an analytic that perfectly proves your point, you're like, yeah, look at SP plus, asterisk number at sign. I mean, it tells me that Nebraska is actually like the 4th best team of the country. So that's how that works. But so you say you can cherry pick wherever you want. I could cherry pick whatever I want. But what you can't cherry pick is this. You can't cherry pick that the SEC plays 8 conference games. And when you were going through your schedule of, Auburn's schedule, you failed to mention that they play Mercer at home at 1:00 in November, and that's a game that Nebraska.
Houston
would win.
Christian.
Exactly.
You move them to November.
Like that's
Can you feel it?
You can't cherry pick that fact at all. You cannot cherry pick the fact that 12 of the 18 Big Ten teams are playing 10 power games this season.
No.
And that the SEC doesn't have near as close to that number. So that's why it always comes back to, I'm fine with the SEC saying what they say and promoting the league the way that they promote. They just can't get around one fact. And the fact is that you play 8 conference games. I'm
And
never
then Cupcake
going,
Saturday.
I'm never going to have solace or be okay with that.
Hey,
they're not going to change it. They have no reason.
Just get in the tournament, and then we'll see how the tournament plays out. And the tournament has told me for 2 straight years the Big Ten has won the national championship. And for 2 straight years, nobody in the SEC has played in the championship game. Okay? I don't care how you get there nowadays.
That's the biggest
You
thing.
determine who gets into the tournament, and then we'll play games. Okay? We'll go to Columbus in December and have shirtless guys from Tennessee out on the field. And Ohio State goes, bro. And then it's an ass whooping.
But
okay?
it is there. I know I totally agree with what you're saying, but also too, you talk about the whole, we'll just get into the tournament. The SEC though is trying to determine and have a big say in who gets in the tournament and who doesn't get in the tournament.
But I'm over like, okay, this is their strength. You know what? We got 12 teams that are going to play beginning in December. That's how we're going to determine things, because it becomes kind of a headache where you go, well, look what we did in the bowl game. Okay, we did this in the bowl game. Okay, well, he didn't play in the bowl game. Okay, look what we did in the conference season. We have started to inch towards my favorite time of the year, and we get peak talking season. If you thought last week was juicy,
this is
now,
going to be
now it's going to be nothing but schedule. And this is where the Big Ten benefits, because the Big Ten can sit back and look at what all these yahoos are going to say down in Atlanta and go, okay, we'll cherry pick, and then this is what we're going to say.
They actually have to cherry pick though. Like I need Tony Petitti, and the Big Ten needs Tony Petitti to stand up on that stage and tell Elias Sports Bureau, hi, we need every analytic and every stat and every piece of number that points to us being the best conference. And I'm just going to rattle it off. And then I'm going to end it with, look who's won the Natty the last 2 years. Period. End of story. That's what they need, because the SEC is outperforming them in that department. And I told you, and I said it tongue in cheek, and I'll say it again, like the whole giving out the pamphlet and the reading material to tell people how great you are. Like, yeah, it seemed a little silly, but like some of that stuff works. When you read through that stuff and you hear what these guys are saying, you actually start. Greg Sankey's a very convincing man. He really is. He's very good at standing up there and talking and saying his points.
They had one thing yesterday where it was like a Johnny Furphy jam over the guy from the Bulls who should retire. that we'll get into a little bit later. By the way, that's one of the biggest posters. That guy, who is that guy?
Noah
that guy,
Essengay. He's our first-round draft pick.
He should retire. You can never come back from the picture on his face.
I don't think he should.
Of getting dunked
he got dunked on by little baby Furphy.
I don't.
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
I don't think he should retire because he actually looked really good yesterday.
He's got to retire after that picture.
No, he doesn't. He was moving really well. He's super long. He's actually incredibly athletic. He moves up and down the court. He's got good stamina.
Looks good on
he
a
was
poster.
able to get to the cup. He hit a 3 yesterday too. I was very impressed with him. Very impressed with how he played. Buzelis looked great as well.
How were you with his picture on his face?
It is not. He is never going to recover from that.
Did he get teabagged when he got posterized? Was it one of those,
Jimmy,
like a Sean Kemp?
Jimmy, you need to see it.
It was.
Bad.
I'll share it with you on our Twitter account.
It might be one of the worst looking faces you could possibly make while getting violated at the rim because it looks exactly like that. I mean, it looks like a man with a lot of fear in his eyes.
You can't recover.
I don't think. Okay, do you
Nice
know how
pick.
you can
Worry about
recover
your quarterback.
if the Chicago Bulls end up
Kinda
winning
like
an
how Sean
NBA
Kemp ended Alton
championship and
Lister's
Noah
career.
Essengay brings that terrible franchise back to glory? That's how you recover. Which, by the way, is an impossible task as long as Jerry Reinsdorf is still the owner.
All right, coming up next, Sam McEwen will stop by from the World Herald. Sam's got a thought or two, probably on the SEC and what to look forward to the Big Ten. If you were going to start a Royal Rumble, the SEC versus Big Ten coaches, who would be the first out of the gate for the SEC and who would be the first out of the gate for the Big Ten to meet in the ring?
I would do Bielema versus Kiffin. That'd be the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
We've got a time limit for a coach to make it to the ring. Sam will join us next on 1620 The Zone. Hey, Moose Roofing is your local place to turn if you need help with your roofing, siding, or gutters. Trust me, you will be extremely happy with your experience working with Moose Roofing. From the first call to the final walkthrough, guys like Shawn Michael, they will keep you informed on the entire schedule, quick replies, clear updates, zero surprises. Now, it's the big thing. Sometimes you're thinking, Jesus, we got to work with a contractor, and all of a sudden there's a wrench here and there. Not with Moose Roofing. Their workmanship, outstanding. And your roof will look fantastic, and it'll be completed right the first time. So you don't have to call Moose Roofing and go, hey, we had this company out here, and they did a crappy job. Can you come fix it? Actually happened. Pat Moose said, we'll be right out. You know what? They'll also take care of your family. Guys like Sean. Sean's a really nice guy. He might even bring cookies for the entire family. It's the personal touch that Moose Roofing gives to you, because I know when you have something wrong with your roof, your siding and gutters, and you're like, oh, geez, then I got to deal with insurance. And you're like, this is going to be a headache. Moose Roofing eliminates that. Quality work, true professionalism, customer service above and beyond. There's a reason why they've been in business for nearly 30 years, all the way from Western Iowa to Lincoln and everything in between. Roofing, siding, gutters, commercial or residential repair. For an inspection, to schedule one, go to the website today. It's mooseroofing.com. All right, rolling through on a Tuesday, All-Star game tonight, American League, National League in Atlanta. Sam McEwen is back with us a week ahead of the Big Ten Media Days. Hope your vacation was well. Welcome back, Sam.
It was. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing good.
Let's start because this is the fun time of the year with the SEC Media Days going on, and then the Big Ten gets to sit back and go, we've won the last 2 natties. Now we're going to respond to what you are talking about. What side is going to win this standoff on what the future of the college football playoff looks like? If you were a betting man.
Oh, I think I'm going to answer this question in a tricky way. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to win.
Okay.
And what the Big Ten is doing, if the Big 12 and the ACC are interested, is giving them, those 2 leagues, more money and, in my opinion, more access. And those 2 leagues, for reasons that only they can explain, probably some weird pride, are going to turn it down. I mean, the SEC believes that in a 5-11 system, they're going to win. And because they feel like they can successfully explain to the committee why their league is so much better and why playing an SEC schedule is harder than any other league. And so I think the way you ask the question, I know what you're saying. The SEC is going to win. And because they have the other leagues on their side. Now, they're not going to win in 2026 because they can just have a 12-team playoff in 2026. What you're going to see is eventually, I think the way that the playoff setup works is they will no longer need unanimous approval going, I think, in 2027. And so I think you'll just see a vote. And the Big 12 and the ACC will vote against its own well-being, probably because they fit into this pull yourself out your bootstraps mindset. I don't really understand why the Big 12 and the ACC see it that way, but they do. And the SEC obviously feels very good about its hand, as Greg Sankey said yesterday.
With Greg Sankey, Sam, I listen to him and I know the flaws of some of the arguments that he makes, but still I find myself very in tune and very understanding to what he is saying. Do you think that Greg Sankey is just like, you find yourself kind of being convinced by him when he talks and he's just a much better speaker and articulator than some of these other commissioners in college football?
Well, I think he's an effective arguer for his own league.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a strong personality, and I think he does a good job of lobbying for what his coaches want, which is what he seems to be pushing for. So yeah, I mean, I think he's effective in that way. I don't necessarily find myself swayed by his arguments. I don't necessarily feel pulled in that direction, and I feel like it's inaccurate, for example, to say that there's no team that would not want to trade schedules with the SEC. Wisconsin would trade schedules tomorrow.
Yes,
with any of the teams in the SEC. And of course, nobody down there is going to ask him that or say that to him, but there's lots of teams that would do that. And I think that the dynamic changed when Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA joined the league. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me that playing at Arkansas is harder than playing at Washington, because it's not. And, nobody's going to believe that until there's a body of evidence over time. And I did some of the home field analysis stuff last week. I mean, Washington has true home field advantage. Arkansas doesn't. They don't have it at all. So like it just kind of depends on how you see the story and how you see the narrative. And, over a period of time, the SEC's done a really good job of shaping its narrative, and I understand it. And the Big Ten doesn't do a very good job at all of shaping its narrative. But yeah, again, the losers in this are going to be the Big 12 and the ACC for reasons that only they can explain. And I don't think they probably should do that.
Wow. Like with media days going on and talking season, and we're getting closer. You have the Big 12, smart, go first. You have the SEC, the Big Ten next week. The ACC just gets lost.
Yes.
And yet they could have a team that could win the national championship possibly this year.
Yeah, they could. And that league's always been a little bit more focused on a handful of teams. And, for a long time it was a basketball league. It was not last year. It was terrible. And I'm sure they'll figure that out and find a way to regain the system and whatever you want to call it. But, it's one of those deals where Tony Petitti is going to go out there and he's going to probably make his case in a very sublime way, not in a very overly direct way. And Greg Sankey's more blunt and uses humor and a smug humor. It's not, I wish it were actual humor, but it's more like, like the guy from Ford versus Ferrari.
Ken Miles?
Like that. Not him. Like the CEO at the beginning who thinks he knows everything. And I think the guy that's played by Tracy Letts.
Yeah, Leo Beebe.
Like,
Yeah.
And then they got to kind of explain to him like what they're trying to accomplish. Anyway, like that's kind of how I see Greg Sankey. I totally understand where they're coming from, and they have an interesting perspective, and that's great. If Tony Petitti were, in the mood, he could go out there and say, well, as I recall correctly, here's what happened in the bowl games. I remember Michigan beating Alabama and Illinois beating South Carolina.
Yes.
And those were the two teams that everybody told me were supposed to be in the playoff. And they were beat by lesser teams that didn't even get considered for the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And you could use that and say, well, as I recall, the bowl results told us that those two teams actually didn't belong in the playoff. And that would be a legitimate argument. I don't know that he's in the mood to do that because I think he wants to make nice and get this thing wherever it needs to go. I'm just saying that the Big Ten's access argument would make everybody more money, and it would probably benefit the Big 12 and the ACC way more than the 5 versus plus 11 model, which relies on the sentiment of human beings, which you can never predict. So, I don't. That's fine though. If that's the way it's going to go, it's going to go that way, and that's probably what coaches want. And because it gives them a built-in excuse if they don't make it, the committee screwed them over. I don't know. I just look at Florida State and what happened a couple years ago to Florida State. That can happen to anybody.
Sure.
And I wouldn't risk it. I would not risk it. I would say I want Florida. I wouldn't risk it. So we'll see what happens.
So for Petitti to do all the aforementioned, he would have to be very SEC-ish, which I don't know that he is. I'm at least comforted by the fact that the relationship between Sankey and the commissioner of the Big Ten is so much better than it was under Kevin Warren, where I don't think Sankey respected Kevin Warren at all, and now he respects Petitti. Let's talk about the current team that is now less than 2 weeks away from going to camp. And, we're all now this time of the year, middle of July. We're starting to give our 7, our 8. Some go 9. Some go, if you work it out, there's a path to 10. Is there a talent ceiling with the 2025 Nebraska team?
Yeah. I suppose there is at like very high, like 10 or 11 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything is out of the realm though. Like I think theoretically they can win every game, and they came within whatever a fourth down or 40 yards of beating the national champion last year. So like I think on any given Saturday, I think they're right there. Like I'm not saying they're going to win that many games. I'm saying that on any given Saturday they can play up to just about anybody, and I probably wouldn't pause at anyone. Maybe Georgia, maybe Oregon. I don't think Nebraska matches up well with Oregon, but that's not to say that Nebraska couldn't win that football game. I think there's so much parity in the sport right now that, I don't think Notre Dame was one of the 2 best teams in the country last year. I really don't. But they got all the way to the final, and they almost pulled a comeback off, and they did that against a team that lost to 5-loss Michigan. So like we're in a space now where it's kind of like basketball. Like there's no superstar team, and you can get there. So Nebraska has to believe that it goes into every game with a really good chance of winning.
When it comes to this team in particular, right? I think that a lot of the arguments for not picking 9 or not picking 10 games is, well, we haven't seen this program be able to close out games and haven't seen them been able to consistently beat the teams that they should. But last season, there was Arizona State and there was Indiana who did exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
They beat teams that they should have, and they closed out games. And what do you think? And I know this is a tough question and maybe a tough spot to put you in, but if you're just looking from 1,000-foot view, what do you think is the difference between Nebraska and Arizona State, Nebraska and Indiana in terms of being able to accomplish
that? In the case of Nebraska and Arizona State, the leagues that they played in.
Sure, for sure.
In the case of Nebraska and Indiana, I mean, we saw it on the field. I think Indiana came in with a lot of experience and they had a system ready to go. And I think their coach infused them with a ton of confidence very quickly. And, he was able to take so much of what he had worked with at his previous school and bring those players there. And so he just, they got on a run. And the other thing is, I'm sure Nebraska went back and watched that game and kind of searched its soul a little bit. And you'll notice that they have 3 different coordinators. Yeah. So I think that game and, that game in particular put Nebraska in a place of reflection. And so I think that was something to consider. I think as far as Arizona State's concerned, I don't think Arizona State's significantly better than Nebraska. I think they got on a good run and they've got some talented players. And, again, they played in a league that, in my opinion, is not as good. Now, Nebraska's going to play a team from that league here in a month, and they had darn well better beat them. So, or otherwise, what am I saying? I think that the reason that people are trepidatious to pick 10 or 11 wins is just because, the reality is there's some toss-up games in there, and there's some things that Nebraska hasn't done for a decade, like win at Minnesota, and that just keeps you from going all in. It doesn't mean that Nebraska fans shouldn't have the expectation, because at this point they should.
I'm not sure if we'll talk to you next Tuesday, because it would be 5:45 in the morning out in Las Vegas. So if we do or don't, but I want to sneak this in because next week on this day, Matt Rule speaks. What do you think he would like to say at the podium but won't say, either about the state of the game, state of the program, or his current team?
I think he's going to say most of what he wants to say about his current team. I think there might be a little bit held back there in terms of just like his excitement over some of the aspects of it. Or I know if I were him, I would want to say, we like where we're at this year, and boy, we really like where we're going to be next year. And you can't really say that because that's a year away.
But he'd be right.
But
totally right.
Yeah, if you like this team this year, you're really going to like what they are next year. I know they lose a couple of offensive linemen, but I think you're really going to like where they're at next season, especially on defense. So I think the pieces are really coming together. And I don't know if there's a way to say it up there where you'd be like, we think we're about to enter
we're a year away.
We think we're about to enter a really strong 3 or 4 year run. That's probably the way to say it. We feel like, where we're at, the immediate future and the long-term future looks really good. And I would agree with that. I think year 3 could be really good. I think year 4 is probably that. Okay. They could take this thing a long way next year with Dylan as a 3rd-year starter and all the rest. So I don't think he'll probably say that. I think he'll be pretty transparent about all the league stuff. I think he's probably grown fatigued, as everyone has already, by the 15 days of stuff about the revenue sharing era. It's just, and Sankey, I thought, did a great job yesterday. So I listened to the whole thing, and the thing that I appreciated most about what he said is he really jumped all over this, it's not working thing. He's like, they didn't implement it until July 1st. And he's like, everybody needs to calm down. Yep. And he made the point of like, we need enforcement. And he repeated the line about, I sat in a room and I told the coaches, if you don't want any enforcement at all, just don't raise your hand. Because we won't do anything. And everybody raised their hand and wanted that. And so like, there's going to be a lot of attacks on the revenue sharing agreement. There is. There's going to be a lot of attacks. Obviously, the House plaintiff lawyers have come out and said that the way the CSC is viewing this is not the way it's supposed to be with collectives. Of course, it's supposed to be that way. If they weren't going to limit the collectives, what was the point of revenue sharing? And so, I don't know why those lawyers are doing that. Probably because they, feel like they got to do that in order to say they're doing it the right way. But this is going to go on and on. Like, there's media organizations that don't want it to work because they want to leverage NIL. There's lawyers, there's handlers, there's people within football departments that kind of like this system because then it's not the athletic director and the head coach making the option. Like, there's all kinds of people. And then even if it completely works, and it might, let's say it works, then somebody said, well, they've just gone back to the gym bags and it's still corrupt. It's always going to be like that. I know that's how people feel, and you can't ever get away from it. But the reality is, from about 1985 to, 2015, 2016, the model was pretty stable. It wasn't perfect. And yeah, there was gym bags or whatever, but it was pretty stable. And it can get stable again. And quite frankly, it needs to be stable because the golden era of college football isn't going to come back until they get that figured out. It's not going to be, this thing where everybody's transferring around all the time is not a model that sustains the sport. They know that, and they've got to find a way to get that done.
Yep. Sam, welcome back from the beach. Thanks for your time. Safe travels out to Vegas. Look forward to all the coverage from the fellas out there. And I hear you'll be doing double duty for other schools as well, so enjoy.
Maybe. Well, we might be doing a little bit, but that may or may not. Yeah.
All right. Well, you get 30,000 words on Nebraska in Vegas, so it'll be perfect.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you, Sam.
Sam McEwen of the World Herald. Yeah, I think
Illinois. Is it? I think the
and
Champaign?
Iowa.
Yeah,
I think the World Herald is covering a couple of different teams.
That'd actually be pretty good for Sam to cover some Iowa and Illinois, because when we those are going to be two teams that are going to be incredibly prevalent this season. One of them Nebraska plays, one of them they're probably going to have to contend with. So when we have our interviews with him from now on, we'll be like our Illinois Illini expert, Mr. Sam McEwen.
Yeah, I think media days are starting to head towards the 18th.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. I think there were some pretty great moments yesterday, and I thought there was still some real juicy stuff, and it seemed like some of the coaches wanted to be there. I'm sure there are going to be some coaches who agree with you, who are like, I'm done with this.
I think we're getting closer to a different type of media days. I'll explain a little bit later. I think I'm going to get into some marketing stuff. A little bit later, Brian Christopherson will stop by in 1620 The Zone. All right, because you want to know, day 2, SEC Media Day is about to begin. Actually, we haven't even discussed what I think was the biggest thing that was said there yesterday. But the biggest thing that happened locally yesterday, just a reminder how good local baseball is.
Yeah.
With 2 local guys getting drafted yesterday. Good on you. Good on, not so good for Nebraska, if you're wondering. He's not local, but Mason McConaughey coming back. But Luke Broderick, the pride of Elkhorn Mount Michael, great school, good people out there. Coach Jay gets drafted, and then Nolan Sailors from Ralston gets drafted by the Kansas City Royals shortly after McConaughey went to Texas. So just a reminder, local baseball is in a good spot.
No, it's a good reminder. Very happy for my neighbor. You know,
that's right.
Getting drafted in the 5th round.
He was doing a television. He did a television interview. I think from his apartment room.
Yeah,
Damn,
maybe.
he should have gone over. Boots on the ground.
Well, I didn't
Because he didn't have a window in his
So there you
room.
go. Like I probably I didn't hear any like popping champagne or anything like that, or any screaming or yelling or
Any
like celebrations. There was no party.
Oh,
So I don't think that I'm pretty sure that he's got to report to wherever the hell he has to report pretty quickly. Like I think this process. At least
have a
Got to sign. Got to sign, and then they probably send him to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then to low A.
But congratulations to him.
Be a Columbia Firefly before long.
I did not know, because you and I were talking about him, about whether or not he was going to get drafted, and I told you, I was like, oh, he might go like later, like mid to later. Like I don't know if he's going to go super high. I then looked at his stats after he got selected. I had no clue how good of a year he had.
He had a really good season.
His OPS was 1,400. His OBP was like near the 500 mark, and he was absolutely crushing the crap out of it.
I was really surprised that McConaughey and Sailors went that early. I figured they'd both get drafted, but to get drafted in the 4th round, that's pretty cool. That's and then Luke Broderick was the 14th round. Now, Nebraska lost a couple of players that got drafted or have done free agent deals. But local baseball in a good spot. All right, when we come back, what I think was the biggest thing said at Big Ten Media or Big SEC Media Days yesterday. And you know what today is? It's the 20th anniversary. It's one of the last great comedies of its kind.
Tommy. No, he was dead before that.
Yes. There you go. You're learning.
No, I know.
July 15th, 2005.
Vincent Owen. Wedding Crashers.
Oh my God, that came out 20 years ago.
Oh, trust me.
It's one of the I think it's one of the last great comedies
What a hell of a
its
summer
time.
I had.
One of the last great quotable comedies.
Yes, indeed. You know what? Yeah. Seamus O'Toole. We're going to get drunk on the 3rd hour of Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. Tomorrow on the show, Brett Ciancia will stop by. The 2025 Pick Six previews is out, the digital copy.
Will I be happy with his prediction?
Well, we'll save it for tomorrow.
He was right last year.
We'll save it for tomorrow about Nebraska.
Matt,
About
text
Kansas?
me. Well, I want both. That's where I go.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, you
I'm
let
gonna
me know.
I'm gonna buy it immediately.
So he'll be on the show tomorrow. His conference championship game matchups. He's got Clemson, Miami.
Cleveland State.
Hey,
Hell of a year.
Hey, when LeBron's playing in Miami, the people in Cleveland will be upset.
He'll be playing. Did you see that he retweeted or quote tweeted the general manager of the Cavaliers getting some sort of award or being honored or whatever like that?
He's got to make it a bunch.
LeBron can't handle the end, and the end is near. Like, I think LeBron could play 5 more years, but his wife won't allow him to play that, and he can't deal with this as the end, that it's now Luka's team, even though he signed off on the trade.
Retire,
so
so I
he'll
can
go
like the Lakers
somewhere
again.
else. So I expect him to be in Miami. Penn State, Ohio State.
Okay.
All right.
Arizona State, Texas Tech.
Okay.
Texas,
Okay.
Alabama. Those are his conference championship game predictions. So Brett will join us tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour from Pick Six previews.
I'm okay with all of that. I think the Alabama hype is very high, but I do think that Georgia, like if Gunnar Stockton is anything like he was against Notre Dame, I don't think Georgia is going to be as dominant as they've been in the last couple of years. But if he turns out to be a
Figure out
really
their wide receivers.
a really good quarterback, I think that Georgia definitely needs to be in that conversation. Penn State, Ohio State, a little obviously kind of chalky, but at the same time, I think it's so hard predicting the Big Ten conference championship game because Oregon just as easily could slide in there as well.
Dookie Clint texts the show. He says, I'm in the camp of Nebraska gets to 10 wins.
No, 10 is...
I say that, but understand that may not happen. I want to go into the season with the mindset of I want to enjoy a Nebraska football season. I don't think I've done that for a while.
That's fair.
Hey, no, aim low. Go, you know what? Hey, 6-6.
That's how I live my life.
Then all of a sudden they go 8-4, and you're like, you know what? I got 2 extra games. I want to be positive and look for the good in Nebraska football. That's what we want to do. We want to look for the good.
Aim low. Is that your piece of advice?
That's a life motto.
With Nebraska football, if you say even though this won't happen,
low expectations,
but you say
good results.
You know what? I think this is going to be a 6-6 season. Then all of a sudden you wake up on the Saturday after Black Friday and Nebraska's 8-4, and you go, great season.
Yeah.
The most enjoyable seasons are when you overachieve.
Yep.
Okay.
So you set your expectations unrealistically in the gutter to surprise yourself?
Yes.
That's why
every day I wake up, that's what I do.
That's why I've tried to be successful is people have low expectations for me, and sometimes I have to over-deliver, and they're like, oh, hey,
look at that.
You're not very good, but you're better than I thought you were going to be.
See,
I thought you'd suck.
That's the way to go about things.
That is a great strategy. It is a phenomenal strategy. Another great strategy is just expecting to win 8 games and then doing what is expected of you.
I like Gary's idea better. I've lived almost 43 years with that mindset, and I've done okay for myself.
I was looking here. We got the SEC Network on in studio. Georgia cannot have a normal quarterback name. They've had a Stetson, and now they have a Gunner.
They once had a Brock Ballou.
And they had a Carson. Carson's probably more of a
Carson
normal
is pretty normal.
Aaron
Stetson.
and Carson.
Have you ever met another Stetson in your life?
I've met a Stetson man.
I have not. I've not worn a Stetson.
I don't think I've met
You haven't?
What's
Hell, I have. Am I the only one here that's wearing a Stetson?
When I was looking to buy a cowboy hat, I was in
You weren't kidding about this cowboy hat phase. You were
I really
thinking about
wanted
going
a cowboy hat, but I was gonna buy a real cowboy hat.
You got
to. I looked in
Those
the mirror.
boots, they smell so good.
And this 18-year-old kid over at was it Cavender's?
Yeah.
I was like, bro. I was like, yeah, you're right.
What's a Stetson?
A Stetson's a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Bum Phillips, Google him.
The Stetson Hatters from the land, Florida.
Did
Are you
Alexi
familiar
Lalas
with the Stetson Hatters?
No, that's not a cowboy. Don't Alexei Lala. You get an actual person who belongs to the Stan Stetson.
These are the fancy ass ones you see at the country concerts where they have to steam them and take an iron to them and everything like that. And then you have the people who do the flat bill ones. They put a little feather in the cap to look like they're real, modern and whatnot.
I had an
They're
uncle like
sexy.
that once. Ran a ranch.
So more out of the SEC Media Days yesterday because Vanderbilt showed up. I wish nothing but the worst on Vanderbilt this year.
Really? That screamer really got to you.
Vanderbilt has gone from, in my book, being likable because they're the plunky underdog and they knocked off Alabama.
They give us Grant
And they
Rice.
had a quarterback who I was like, okay, Diego Pavia.
Yeah,
I can see
expiring.
what you're doing. You know what?
You're out on Diego?
Played your way up.
Hey, not everybody can survive living in Las Cruces.
No.
You did. I mean, to go from Las Cruces to Nashville,
It's one hell of a turnaround.
that's like going from Eagle to Gretna.
I got offered a job there once, and my wife said, "You're
Right.
going to go single."
All right, so I was like vibing, and then all of a sudden, and maybe this isn't the kids' problem. Maybe this is a me problem, and it's ESPN. It's the ESPN can really turn you from being a likable character to a very unlikable. Now,
just don't watch.
I like their football coach. I think Vanderbilt has a pulse. And I think he was right yesterday because he said, we are built to be playing in January. And I looked, and the Liberty Bowl this year is played on January 2nd.
Correct.
So he was not lying. But it's
a fun time.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm rooting for Diego Pavia.
I'm not at all. Remotely.
Wow.
Not
So
even close.
ESPN started to compare him yesterday.
He's your kind of guy, Gary.
No,
Little swagger,
no,
little DGAF.
He's gone far. He's gone a
No,
little too far.
hey, he has sucked the life out of the 15 minutes of fame that he has gotten.
He won. Because
he beat Alabama that one time. We all have one.
He
game.
did, and we
Shane
liked
Falco
him.
once stunk it up in
we
the
liked
Sugar
him, and
Bowl.
I even liked him that he said, "You know what? I want an extra year of eligibility." I'm like, "Go, man!" But now
the
we're
guy
just
won one game.
now we're just talking out of our ass.
He won one game.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be on
And he's
Nashville
taken
Sports
this-
Radio
this
in 3 years.
ultimate victory lap. And Vanderbilt, you're absolutely right. Went from the little bro that nobody ever has to care about, that you're like, oh, it's almost like a guaranteed win, to like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Good for those guys, man. They're so used to going 2-9 and or 2-10 and 3-8 or
Somebody's
3-9.
gonna hang
and,
70
they're,
on
They're
them.
so used to losing. Man, look at them. They actually were competitive. They beat Alabama. Diego Pavia, man, speak your truth. Everybody's rooting against you. And then he just turned into a just bashful
And
and,
then-
just like they turned into an SEC team.
And then ESPN doesn't help. So they had a graphic yesterday comparing his stats
to LeBron,
to fellow Heisman winners. And I'm like, the only comparison is the height and weight. So I'm like, okay, ESPN, you're going to do it to this kid because he's kind of doing it to himself.
He's doing it.
But the crowd around him yesterday, we'll watch. But I don't know that outside of Dom Rizak, I'm going, man, I want the Vandy Commodores to rise up and win more than 7 football games.
It's absolute insanity too how he could have easily have taken the opportunities to talk to the media to say, look, man, we're not just a one game program. We're not just a 1-win program. We didn't just beat Alabama. We got other things that we're working through. And hey, we lost to Georgia State last year, and we got to make sure that we don't lose games like that in the future. Like, he could have portrayed himself in a very likable way to where you are like, not only is Vanderbilt a plucky underdog, we're sitting up here and we're saying his points. We're like, hey, actually Vanderbilt can be competitive. Vanderbilt can do this. Vanderbilt can do that. Now, because he's keeps rattling off by the mouth and bragging about how good he is and disparaging the Big Ten a couple of weeks ago, you're like, screw Vandy. I want this guy to lose.
I will watch 2 full Vandy games this year, October 4th when they go to Tuscaloosa. By the way, they have on the schedule, this is interesting. They have it flexed 2:30. The game will be played either between 2:30 or 3:30 or 5 or 7. That's an SEC thing, and I actually kind of like that.
Okay.
Where instead of a TBA,
Yeah.
you give them
Or you
like a
give 'em the
window.
times, yeah.
So I'll watch that game, and then when they go to Knoxville to play Tennessee, I bet most people in college football have no idea who's on the SEC set right now on the far right. Do you guys know that?
I have
Nope.
That's
the middle guy doesn't miss arm day.
Well, that's Chris Doring and Peter Burns.
Well, I remember Chris Doring.
And the guy on the right is Gunnar Stockton.
Cuomo.
Yeah.
I thought
Blow
it
it
was-
to alligator.
Well, they bring on Gunnar Stockton, and now they're showing Jackson Arnold highlights, and so
Because I think Auburn is next.
Auburn's
Yeah.
next.
Peter Burns, I remember
But
from
speaking
Texas.
of Alabama yesterday, so this was the biggest thing to me that was mentioned. Greg McElroy, former quarterback under Nick Saban, and then Lane Kiffin, who I think is just trolling.
He's so
and he's just adding to it because it is talking and trolling season.
He told some girl to come to the SIP yesterday on Twitter. The very little time I spent on the app.
Oh, we'll talk about the Lane Train. He also had a really cool tribute to his dad. So the inside of his sport coat had pictures of him and his dad.
Nice.
Really, really cool. So Greg McElroy dropped kind of a bombshell at the SEC Media Days, and McElroy is on a really popular, him and Cole Kubick are on station in Birmingham. And he said that he was told by someone very much in the know that Saban would return to coaching at some point. And then McElroy said he was adamant about his prediction.
There you go, Matt. If
I
rule doesn't
can't
work
wait
out.
for no. I can't wait for the Netflix documentary where Nick Saban coaches a high school football team. That would be
And wins.
Like takes over.
Be like
a
the White
team,
Shadow, a
like
sitcom.
goes to Texas or goes to Georgia, goes to Alabama, takes over like a middling team. They bring in the cameras and then they do like an 8-part docu-series of him coaching high school football.
Wyoming
That
coach
would
Nick
be-
Saban.
That would be incredible.
So I find this hard to believe.
I don't think he's coming.
No,
but
I don't buy it at all.
But then I start start connecting dots and thinking, could this be pulled off? Now remember, he's 74.
Bill Snyder was 137. That doesn't mean anything.
So Game Day wants to get younger. Corso out, Saban out. Yeah, they got younger. But for a moment here, there's two things about this. I just don't see him. Now, he still has an office in the football facility at Alabama. So he goes to work kind of on the regular. He's not around DeBoer, but he's in the football office.
I think Coach K has something like that too. Yeah, where he still had his office for a while.
But let's say things don't go so well in Tallahassee.
Okay, so
The only way he would come back, and again, I don't think he will.
So
would be a job that is already kind of ready-made that just needs a Saban touch. So someone threw out last night the Bills.
No,
I just don't see that. But the other part of this conversation about Saban is because he's the greatest of all time. He's 70. I'm pretty sure he's 74.
Looks great.
He does look great.
Cream pies for breakfast.
He's in his wheelhouse being in the media. How many schools, major college football programs, if Nick Saban's agent called your athletic director up this morning
and you're listening
and said, "Hey, Nick would like to be your head coach," how many ADs would fire their current head coach immediately to get a 74-year-old Nick Saban to take over?
It'd be easier to tell you the ones that wouldn't. I don't think Ohio State would. I don't think Clemson would. I don't think Georgia would. I don't think Notre Dame would. And I don't think Oregon would. And that's it.
That's fair.
I think those are the teams. Yes, Penn State.
USC.
I think Penn State, especially if Franklin doesn't get it done this year, I think Penn State would definitely do it.
What about Nebraska?
Yes. But that's not a disparagement against Matt Rule or anything against what Matt Rule is doing. It's just the greatest football coach of all time.
Kind of would be like immediately fire. Hey, you're not on the hot seat. Hey, but Saban called. Now you're.
But that's for everybody. That's every.
The zone hires Rule the next day.
Matt, can you take some time off?
Hey, Matt,
we'll bring you back when Coach Saban says that he's ready to go back and hang out with Miss Terry.
So this is a half serious one, half serious, half kidding, because I don't know if they fully have been at the bridges. But Brian Kelly ends up having a bad season at LSU.
Tiger fans will forgive quickly.
So I see I see where you're going here. I don't know that he would do that to LSU. See, this is a fun July 15th conversation because I just don't see it.
Because look, he left, and I understand why they were mad.
What about
and
Texas?
then he comes back to the rival, and then he ends up winning all those titles. But at the same time, you can't deny how great he is, and you can't deny the things that he accomplished while he was your coach. And I think also too, when you go through the Brian Kelly experience, and if the Brian Kelly experience doesn't go well, you'll take anything. You'll take anything. Like even at Notre Dame, when Brian Kelly was winning, it wasn't like the Brian Kelly experience was like the greatest thing of all time. That everybody was so happy that he was the Irish's head football coach. Now, if he doesn't win at LSU, it's going to be even worse. So I think that
you think people at LSU are upset at Saban?
They get over it. He wants to come back.
He turned that program around. They won a national championship, and they've won a national championship since.
Set it up for Les Miles beautifully.
I think when you have a coach that one like that, and you had so many great memories with him, and then he gets up and he leaves, and then he comes back to a different team in your same division, that's a very easy way to have animosity, to be like, damn, like, I don't know, man, I appreciate everything you did, but like, I'm looking at like you're whooping our ass right now in national championship.
But remember,
games,
at the
albeit.
time, I mean, Alabama was in a bad spot. I don't think
Right.
LSU
Mike
paid any
Shula.
attention to
But-
Alabama.
But I think
Mike
but-
Shula back in the SEC.
But you don't think it stung?
He is with Shane Beamer, I think.
You
He's
don't-
an analyst or the OC.
You don't think it stung in 2010 when Saban beat LSU in that mega championship game that LSU lost the title to the guy who used to be on their side?
That was 2011.
2011.
Yeah, it beat Les Miles. 21-0, 7 field goals.
Yeah.
Great game.
Well, by that point, I think they were ready to say, Les, you're in a gots-to-go situation.
Yeah.
I think since they've won a couple of national titles since then, maybe it has lessened it.
Yes.
That's what I agree with that. I think Ellis.
I've never heard like the animosity.
He left it better than he found it. They
He-
were really
he de-
bad
he
before
defi-
him.
He
Well, not
definitely
really
did.
bad.
So that's
They were mediocre before.
So he left. I mean, he left Michigan State better than he found it.
Mm-hmm.
He left LSU better than he found it. He has left Alabama better than he found it.
No comment on the Dolphins because he didn't want to be there anyway, and I get that.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I don't think I all this to say. I think if Saban was available, LSU fans would absolutely go, yes, please, let's do it. Let's do it right now. We don't care. He's 73, by the way.
SC and Texas
So-
Tech, those would be my two schools I think would reach out. Because Tech, they're going to, whatever,
South
name your
Carolina?
price.
South Carolina?
No, Southern California.
Oh.
I
Not that I picture that.
See, I don't think of an on-field.
Texas?
I think he would love. I think he misses the daily interaction, but he doesn't want to do the Saturday. So is there a role?
Likes the teaching.
Is there a role where I can be around the fellas?
You don't think he likes the Saturday?
I don't think he'd come back for the Saturdays. I think he would like to be involved where you're talking ball with
Yeah.
coaches and you are around players,
Helping people get better.
but you don't have the responsibility of being the head coach.
Analyst?
Well, I feel like
I don't know. Is he kind of that at Alabama in a
Well-
roundabout way?
Oh, I think so.
Or DeBoer
you don't
can
think if
pitch
Kellen
things
DeBoer
often?
sent him something and said, "Hey, do you mind watching this and getting back to me?" Honestly, if I was an Alabama fan, I would be pissed if Kellen DeBoer at some point didn't use Nick Saban
Talk
as a
ball with
resource,
Nick Saban.
especially on the defensive end. Which one of the best things about Nick Saban being just retired is he now just sits in front of a camera and breaks down defenses. And
it's really good at it, too.
Oh, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what he's saying, but it's just like it's incredible to see
teaching.
him talk that language and speak like that.
Well, he used to do a segment on his coach's show.
Yeah.
Where they would just let him break down film. It was fantastic. And
Now-
they shot it like within a couple of hours after the game was over, so everything was fresh.
So this time last year, it came out that Kyle Shanahan had called Bill Belichick and essentially offered him to be the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. And Belichick was like, I don't mean to act like I'm bigger than the job, but I'm doing some other things. I'm looking to get back in head coaching.
Coach, I just wanna work with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I'll politely say no. I wonder if someone has reached out to Saban maybe in that capacity of like, hey, do you want to be a DC? Like we can just give you the defensive room and you could be head coach of the defense.
don't have
and
to do
you
media.
worry- you
Do it
worry
once
about
a
your
year.
guys. You don't have
See,
to.
I don't
worry-
think
you don't have to worry about recruiting. You don't have to worry about the portal. You
I don't
have
think
to-
an on-field responsibility job. I think it'd be more of a,
Behind
what?
the scenes,
I'm
it's quiet.
I'm a sounding board.
Yeah.
I'll be there for you.
But,
Let's watch
but
some
I don't
film.
want to. I don't want to recruit. I don't want to coach on Saturday.
But McElroy's saying that he wants to get back into coaching. I don't think when he says that, I don't think analyst. I don't think behind the scenes. I think of him like on the sideline,
teaching.
Really, yes, like really coaching. And also, too, I've always thought that the reason he left Alabama wasn't because he didn't want to coach on Saturdays anymore. It's because, and he tells the story of, Miss Terry saying, "Hey, what are we doing anymore? Because all of these parents are just asking me for money." So I think maybe if you can just convince them, hey, you just get to, honestly, if you just go up to Nick Saban and say, you pick your job, man. You pick what you want to do. Like, what specifically do you want to have your hands in, and do you want to operate? And if it's being the DC or like a linebackers coach, hell yeah. If it's being an analyst, great. That's what I would do.
He would only do that
For
if it was
Alabama.
at a. I don't think he'd do it to Alabama. I think he'd only do it at a program where he has a direct connection to the head coach, because there's no head coach that would bring in Saban and let him do that and be like, "Oh, this is great. That's great. We lost. It wasn't Saban's fault.
You couldn't.
And now Saban should be the head coach."
So that's the
Paul!
thing too. You can't, like, if you're Shane Beamer, you cannot bring Nick Saban to South Carolina. You can't have him in that building every day, because immediately, as soon as you lose a game that you're not supposed to lose, you go, "Hey, let's hire the greatest coach of all time."
Saban and Phil Snow in the ears of Matt
Maybe
Rule
Saban just
teaching.
wants to be John Gruden.
I don't think he does, because I don't think McElroy, which, by the way, like, I'm not fully buying that he wants to get back into coaching, and I don't think it's. But if he for sure didn't want to, you think he would make the statement of like, "Hey, I have no interest whatsoever. I am totally fine."
He's 74, and you'd have to go to a program that was basically ready-made from the structure. And it takes a lot of energy, man. I think the best thing for Nick Saban is what he's doing now, and he's around the game. He's around the game. He's talking ball, and he's still kind of attached in Tuscaloosa.
You never lose.
Where
You always
he wants to help Kellen DeBoer, and they'll have him as long as they, he hasn't separated himself from Alabama. Now, I don't know that. I just don't see him doing a Bill Snyder.
Tim Cook, Tim in our YouTube chat goes ahead and says,
ITC.
"Do you think he could hook up with the man at North Carolina?"
Hubert Davis?
No, Bill Belichick.
Right.
That'd be juicy.
Hey, they're friends. They work together with the Browns.
Friends, yes.
They beat
Nick
the
Saban
Cowboys in
was the
'94.
defensive coordinator.
Well, we don't know. Maybe he has helped out North Carolina football.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
So that's where I think he's probably helped out quite a few programs and just advice. And
You would have, if Bill Belichick and Nick Saban were coaching together at North Carolina, every one of their games would be on ESPN. It wouldn't even be funny. They'd be like, "Yeah, we got the Tar Heels on the ACC network this week." No, you don't. It's on ABC. We don't care. They're playing Mercer.
All right. When we come back, so SEC Media Days, day number 2, Jackson Arnold is currently on the set talking. The fans are there getting autographs. It is cool that they do have it at the College Football Hall of Fame. I mean, SEC greater than Mandalay Bay, but I think Media Days might be on the back 9. I'll tell you why I feel that way. Plus, a guy that was at Media Days yesterday that added to the Nick Saban discussion. Talk about Lane Kiffin when we come back on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome to All-Star Game Tuesday. No? Can't put the shine.
I'm excited.
Can't put the shine back on the All-Star Game.
I look forward to it.
Will it ever, Johnny, be the same? They're wearing their primary uniforms. No?
I'm
Scooble Skeens against Judge and Cal Raleigh.
I had a triple screen yesterday of NBA Summer League with the Home Run Derby, and I
What
think
was on
that
three?
it was Charlotte playing, and then there was the Bulls playing.
Oh, you
the
had two
Pacers.
games. Okay.
So I had two different Summer League games and the Home Run Derby. So that just tells you how desperate I am for sport content and something to look at.
It's not
Well,
too
Hey,
terrible.
no. Hey, John Tanji had 16 last night. Shireman looked really good. Shireman's defense has come a ways. And then you, of course, had the Johnny Furphy dunk.
Noah Essengay
Got postered.
looked so good yesterday. He looked like he could.
I thought so in
develop
that
into a
picture I tweeted
legitimate-
at the Gary and Matt account.
I don't know what picture you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even who Furphy? Furphy? Who? I don't even know who you're talking about. Never heard of him. I just know that Noah
He said,
Essengay
"How's my?"
Essengay had over 20 points yesterday. So did Montes Buzelis. I don't know. Things are looking up in Chicago.
Yeah, the Cubs in first place.
Kobe, White, Josh Giddey,
Mhm.
Buzelis,
Mm-hmm.
Essengay.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. We still got Vooch. Still got Vooch laying around. This old thing still works.
I did. So as I was shutting her down last night after the Home Run Derby, my Sacramento Kings were up 33 in a summer league game at 11:12 at night.
They're back.
And the announcers, I'm like, you could give out like your social security number and no one would be like, I was like, and that's what I thought. I thought no one's watching this game except for us
You
King
couldn't, by the
fans.
way.
I went to Reddit, the Beam Team Reddit. I was like, yeah, let's get into a discussion here.
There's a Beam Team Reddit.
Oh,
There's everything Reddit.
Yeah, everything Reddit.
I'm not a Reddit guy.
Get on the Reddit.
Now, my favorite YouTube shorts are the ones where they read funny Reddit threads.
The NSFW is right up your alley, young Matthew.
I'm not a Reddit guy. I never have and never will be. I just got into message boards.
Get you on the
I
TikTok.
just got into following them. I'm not a TikTok guy.
I'm gonna get you on all of them.
I like my Instagram
MySpace.
reels and my YouTube shorts, and I like that Minnesota plays Detroit at 3:30 on ESPN Plus today, so I get to see Bryce Williams.
Watch this because, hey, Major League Baseball All-Star Game is not for everybody, but people will watch.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark is also playing tonight. The Fever are at the Sun. I'm sure that will do a little bit of a ratings.
I'll put it
Watch
on.
Selfie.
But I never know if
Lexi?
she's playing or not, if
Yeah,
she's in or
she's
not, if
back.
she's hurt.
They have other players.
She's back.
Holy Connecticut.
1
Sun.
week from today, Nebraska will speak in Vegas at
Yes.
Mandalay Bay in the Big Ten Media Days.
Just like the
1620 will not be there, but we are the home of the Huskers, so we will cover it like we're
sense.
there, but we will not be there in person. And I think just watching yesterday, the amount of people at the SEC Media Days that are in the media, print, television, radio, or the digital landscape where it seems like everybody is going, is less. And I believe that this is me, that the lack of caring for media days is lower than it's been in my lifetime. And there's a couple of things.
Okay.
One, media landscape has changed. Okay. There are fewer newspapers.
Yep.
Like we just told you.
Lots of us
Sam
have been
and
fired.
Evan, right now it is planned that they're going to cover like 3 teams for Lee Enterprises.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So there are fewer people that are going. There are fewer radio stations that are going. And if you are going, you are doing double duty for, let's say you're working covering Nebraska for the Omaha station.
Yeah.
You're also going to cover Iowa for the Des Moines station. So the media landscape has changed. There are fewer people in media. Also in radio. The Big Ten is awful when it comes to doing live radio shows. Yeah, you get the access to the Nebraska guys, but they don't make the
You'll
other
get Burt.
they
Coaches
don't make
go
those
down.
coaches
Yeah.
and players. You have to schedule them out and you're not their priority.
No.
So that has happened. I think the radio part of Radio Row at Media Days has gotten less and less. And instead, it's the podcasters and the digital people. And there's some podcasters who do much better than radio shows. That's the bottom line. I think the whole media landscape has changed. It's also college football has become a year-round coverage.
Where it
Yes.
used to be the offseason would be the offseason. There was hardly any discussion.
Even here?
And then you'd get jacked up for media days and you'd be like, we got to go. Let's go because we haven't talked much.
Mhm.
We haven't heard from the players. We haven't heard from the coaches. It's not nonstop every day. There's something going on. So this is the unofficial kickoff. The calendar has changed a little bit. So
Got your media guides?
my observation is that there is less caring about media days because Sankey and Petiti probably said more pertinent stuff away from their media days
Way
than they're
more.
saying in Atlanta or Las Vegas. So
And-
that's another reason.
And, well, on top of that, too, there is just way too much money now in college football for people to be taking risk, essentially, which is why they lower the times and lower the amount of availability you have to coaches, and they really media train these coaches. And there's kind of this negative stigma towards the media in some ways that you're just trying to gotcha, you're just trying to get a quote, you're just trying to like.
You think so in college?
I
In
think
pro, yes.
I think
in
so, but
college.
I think that there have been rules.
I think college coaches are really accommodating.
Oh, I think college coaches are more accommodating, but I definitely think that there is the stigma of like, I have to be careful and I can't tell you everything that I believe and I can't really allow you to fully come in and understand the story because I don't want it to be taken a different way or out of context, which would be negative toward me and negative toward my athletic department.
Oh, you have a definition of on or off the record.
Exactly. Well, and some people don't understand that. And I think also too, though, we've seen, and let's just like use Nebraska football, for example, right?
Mhm.
Like over the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, right? There has been less and less media access in terms of like assistant coaches getting interviewed, media being able to go to practice, media being able to view practice. You know, I think that now I think Nebraska does a great job of, you know, with the rules that they have now, allowing the media to talk to the coaches and to get stories and to be open. But they definitely, Nebraska, it used to be way more open season in terms of what you're able to capture and what you're able to get. And that's something that goes on across all of not just college sports, but pro sports. And I think that is these entities and these programs kind of understanding, hey, the media is important, right? Like we do need you to cover us and we do need you to talk about us, but there are some things you don't know that you don't need to know. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to have the full story. It's not good for us that you have that and you publish that or you say that. So we're going to try and limit those things. That's how I view it. I view this as the risk reward it's too high in some instances for college football and for some of these college programs that they will allow access, but they don't want too much access. They'll allow you to get the surface stories, but they won't allow you to dig deep and get the real content because it may not make them look as good. And they know that they have us by the neck and that we're still going to play ball with them. It does not matter that they make these rules. We're still going to abide by them because we need to abide by them.
Yeah, you know, there's I think from the Nebraska contingent of media that are going to Vegas, you're going out for one day. You're going out for Nebraska and then you're coming back.
And to your point too, there also is the other, like, things are getting more and more expensive.
You don't have time to get a tan?
Like just in general, like flights are getting more expensive and food is more expensive and hotels are more expensive. And it's just the cost of everything is just higher in general. And it's not as if newspapers and radio stations are just, rolling around in a ton of cash. If anything, they're doing the opposite. You know, they're cutting off papers and they're cutting off writers and they're cutting
we
off...
all were rich.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what everyone tells
So,
me. Like,
just
you guys
like from an economic perspective, it just has not been good for media in general, especially newspaper
Well, and
radio.
you can sit at home and cover media days.
You easily.
I mean, look at the SEC network has been live since 8 a.m. And you could sit at home and watch a 9.5-minute interview between Paul Feinbaum and Lane Kiffin, which was absolute gold yesterday.
Oh,
I like Lane. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's fantastic for the sport.
Yeah.
I think he's also a very good person. The stuff that he has done in remembrance of his late father, coming to Lexington
The different
for the
side of him.
services. Yeah, you do see a different side of him. Yesterday he was rather subdued yesterday. Like his delivery was really funny, like when he was talking about Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
But I thought he was
I thought he was really kind of toned down.
I think he was blurring the line a little bit too.
What do you mean?
Like, I think that part of him like enjoys making fun of Hugh Freeze and wants to make fun of Hugh Freeze, but I don't think he actually like dislikes Hugh Freeze and is doing it out of malice, you know? But like part of me is like, well, like you clearly, you know, you don't want to like Auburn, but at the same time, he's not like, you know, trashing him or anything.
Well, I think one thing I noticed, and this may be due with their upcoming season. So all the stuff I said positive about Lane, and you hop on the Lane train,
Yeah.
and it is a circus, and it can be a lot of fun.
It could be,
But-
then you lose to Kentucky.
But that's what I've always said. Is he the coach in college football that it doesn't matter if he wins big games?
I think
he's won some big games, but he's also lost some games that you're like,
I think right now,
supposed to be in the mix for the playoff, right?
I think
Does it matter if Lane Kiffin actually wins?
No, I think right now you're spot on. You're right. That he has Ole Miss has been able to compete in the SEC and play really good football. That you are like, all right, yeah, they're good. They're in a tough conference. You know, they're competing.
They're better than they used
but
to
at
be.
some point, we're in year 6 of Lane
Mhm.
at Ole Miss. When we get to year 7 or year 8 or year 9 and year 10,
Yeah, it gets old.
and we're still having this convo, Jimmy, it gets old so quick.
Win a
And you-
game. Hey, it's
and-
August
exactly.
4th. Happy Lane Kiffin Day.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Like you get to the point where it's like, all right, like you're a funny guy and you're great, but you shifted from being like the new hip coach to you're just SEC James Franklin. Like that's in the next 4 years, if Ole Miss doesn't make a Final Four, doesn't make an Elite Eight, or isn't consistently in the playoff, we are just going to look at Lane Kiffin as, well, his bridesmaid, never the bride. Now, Ole Miss is competitive, but they're not the elite. They're not at the top tier of the SEC.
Honest question. I wonder if Brian Edwards would take him as a head coach at Florida with their resources. I really wonder, and maybe we've asked him that in the past, but I'm genuinely curious.
Because you know that
I don't think it was
he'll
fair.
win.
I don't think it was fair to say Lane Kiffin is the James Franklin.
No,
because James Franklin was 24-15 at Vanderbilt.
He can no.
That's
I'm
cool
saying
again.
James Franklin of the
Oh,
SEC.
okay.
Where it's
All right.
like what Penn State is in the Big Ten, Ole Miss has become that in the Southeastern Conference. That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you. I like Lane, so I mean, at least he's different.
I think he's
It's not
great
like
now,
everyone
and I
else.
think in this era, it's specifically this era of college football, the changing era where we don't know or ask from our elbows and things are always different. You kind of need a guy to lighten things up. Like you need
Have a laugh. Life's short.
Exactly. You need to laugh a little bit. You need somebody to kind of stand up there and say, "Hey guys, this is stupid." And I know that we all know this is stupid, and I'm just going to be the one in a very prominent position to acknowledge this is stupid.
So
He is
they're
fascinating.
not
I'm
they're
with you.
not considered one of the teams out of the SEC to make the playoff. Now they've gone all in once again on the portal. He was just really calm yesterday. Like, there wasn't chaos that was following him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you can take it a couple of different ways. He knows something that we don't about his team, or he is like, you know what? We got some things to prove, so I'm not going to walk in here with bravado. But the thing I do love about him, and he's great for the SEC, and I think he's great for college football, is him and Feinbaum.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
So, two guys
Gold.
who hate and love each other
It was so
at the same time. I mean, that's a buddy comedy that is going on.
It is a
like I could
sitcom.
see those two doing a talk show.
I was going to say,
You know, when Feinbaum, he just re-signed with the SEC network, but you know, he retires and he moves back to Birmingham. He leaves Charlotte and moves back to Birmingham. He's like, you know what? Hey, you and Lane,
let's do a show.
Let's do an afternoon show.
Well, it was great. when
I would
you're like-
listen to that in a heartbeat.
The best part was Lane was like, "Yeah, after I beat Georgia, I had you for 2 weeks. You know, I had you. I thought we were good. You were saying great things about me. I woke up in the morning and I played the clip of Paul Feinbaum saying more things, and then Paul goes, "Then you lost."
Well,
That was
that's the Lane Kiffin experience in
Exactly.
Oxford.
And then like them talking about I like that there was a little bit of a moment where things got like the slightest bit chippy, where Feinbaum was like, "You had a really good team last year. It's like really good team," and he was kind of making like jabbing at him for not winning more with that really good team. And then Kiffin goes, "Well, you have to make the good team. Like you have to actually build the good team." And then they just moved on from it. They're like, "All right, we don't need to get in the chicken or the egg conversation here." They are just the type of friends, and I think people have had it where it's just like you're annoyed by them a lot and every once in a while, but there's nothing you wouldn't really do for
They
them.
need each other.
And you need to make fun of them. And like you need to make fun of them to get things off of your chest, but they need to make fun of you because you act a certain way and need to be held accountable. And you acknowledge that. And I think that Kiffin loves that Feinbaum stands up for himself, that Feinbaum doesn't back down, that Feinbaum isn't like one of those reporters like, oh, no, I want you to like me. That Feinbaum's like, no, you did lose.
No, I think he clowns Feinbaum because Feinbaum has your stick, and he's perfect with his base. Okay,
He is.
He just feeds them chum. Yesterday, he didn't talk about the SEC. He just ripped the Big Ten. He went from Harbaugh to Franklin to Ohio State to Petiti, and those people in the SEC, they eat that stuff up. And so I think Lane thinks that Feinbaum is a clown, and he knows.
Really, I don't.
And he
think
knows
that.
he
I
knows
don't
that
think
he needs it. Well,
I don't think-
Feinbaum has put Kiffin in some bad spots
for sure. But I don't think that Kiffin would, like, if he didn't somewhat respect Feinbaum, would come onto a show and create content like
Well,
that.
but don't you think he gets more of a pushback if he doesn't? And even if it comes on in his act yesterday,
They can use each other.
Again, I think they love and hate each other at the same time.
I don't think that Kiffin. So maybe he thinks he's. I mean, you got to think Feinbaum is a little bit of a clown, like, because that's kind of what he does, right? I mean, that's
he's
his,
perfect.
that's-
for the
good at what he
SEC.
does.
He is. That's
his
why
thing.
people love him.
But I don't think
because he's great for that conference.
I don't think
Love
Kiffin
the
is
old
looking at
Feinbaum.
Feinbaum like as a joke. Like, I do think that there is part of Lane Kiffin that legitimately respects Paul Feinbaum. I really do think that. Because I don't think he does what he does yesterday and throws it back and forward with him if he didn't respect him, if he didn't have an iota of like, you know what, this guy, I can cope with the fact that he stands on his ground, that he stands on the space, that he actually believes the things that he says and he says,
But I mean, then today Feinbaum will be different. He'll have a different
Oh, yeah.
stance. He'll change.
And
I thought it was uncomfortable when he talked about his relationship with Phil Fulmer, how Feinbaum ruined it.
Oh, that was
That was uncomfortable.
That was. But then Feinbaum was like, Fulmer can't stand me now either. And then
Yeah,
they
so
kinda had a
Feinbaum
chuckle.
is smart because he turns the conversation back to,
Well,
I don't want this to be really, really uncomfortable.
He turns the convo, but then he also, slightly admits his mistakes. Slightly.
All right, BC's coming up top of the hour. We'll get into that. Plus, more on the SEC and the Big Ten. The SEC did something yesterday. I know we've had some fun with America's favorite Mean More conference. They put up the first touchdown on the Big Ten yesterday. It was something they did. We'll get into that when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
What if Feinbaum was actually a Big Ten honk?
If he was a spy?
No. If he was on the Big Ten network, like he was not SEC guy.
I don't think
he
you
was
can
a
be
Big
that
Ten,
way.
Based out of Chicago.
Big Ten
Paul
guy.
Feinbaum.
I don't think it would actually marry well with the Big Ten.
Proud Michigan
I
man.
don't, like, seriously, I don't think if he was that bullish and that loud and that, you know, and wasn't afraid to say that, hey, you know, PJ Fleck should be on the hot seat or, you know, start beef with teams and coaches. I think that would float over like a lead balloon with the Big Ten, because I just don't think the Big Ten plays ball like
They're
that.
stuffy.
I think the SEC plays ball like that.
Hey, they eat that stuff up.
They love it.
But they also have a 7-0 lead on the Big Ten with something they did yesterday.
I think
But it's
they
early.
have a bigger lead on the Big Ten than that over the last couple of weeks. I think that Sankey has done an incredible job.
What's the score?
Week in and week out. Probably like 14-0.
It's still early.
I think the recruiting gap has come a long way.
Oh, I'm just talking about like interconference relationships and the playoff and how the future of college football. I'm not talking about on the field. Absolutely, yeah.
So
place
in
that
my book, they're up 7-0. Because in this country, I credit the growth of Formula One to Netflix.
Yes. I think that's a great shout.
Golf for the casuals,
Full swing.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Formula One, people watch, but if you're a casual and you watch the Netflix documentary or the series on Formula One, you're like, whoa. And the next thing you know, Miami, Austin, Vegas, and you're like, ooh, Formula One has picked up in this country. So much that Apple is going to pay a gazillion dollars
Nick
to
told me
have
about
the
this.
rights and take it away from ESPN. And the casuals with golf, they get to know the personalities.
Netflix had Connor Stallions. There's that.
And the quarterback
Well-
series and the wide receiver series, like not that the NFL needs it, but I think I like Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow way more now than I have
Well,
before.
and there's the part of Netflix because there are more than just sports fans that watch Netflix. And, you're going through your queue and you're like, what is this? And you watch it.
Is it
And all of a
cake?
sudden, if it's good enough, you get hooked. And so you watch it and you're like, oh, man, I got to go to that. Have you guys seen what's coming on August 5th on Netflix?
Yes, the SEC series.
Yep. So any given
And we'll
Saturday,
watch.
which, by the way, will feature Dane Key.
Yeah.
It was filmed last year behind the scenes. And so when Dane Key was in Lexington, he was part of one of the storylines. But it's called Any Given Saturday. The trailer, I mean,
It looked incredible.
Take me to the swamp.
looks
Take
so
me
good.
between the hedges. Take me to T-Town. Hell, I'll even go to War Eagle. I'll go to Jordan Hare. I mean,
this is
there's an ability to
Saturday night in Death Valley.
There's an ability to attract a whole new audience that goes, wow.
Well,
I gotta go to a Saturday night in the SEC.
The reason
smart play.
The reason why it's so great too is if the Big Ten then goes ahead and says, "Hey, we're going to try and do the same thing," I feel like
You're
fans and everybody else would be like, "No, we don't need two of these things." We
Doesn't
don't
the Big Ten though kind of do this?
They do it on their own network.
Yes,
and they do
the journey.
stories, yes, and the journeys and whatnot. But that's not the same. Like,
no,
this
no, no.
is
That 85 Iowa football one was.
I am like the journeys and everything like that. I got to my game 25 minutes early, and this story about some Maryland lacrosse player who had to go through incredible like turmoil to get to where they're at. This is incredibly interesting, so I'll continue to watch it. This SEC thing is like I'm marking down the days, honestly, to like get on
We
the
show football.
inside look of a college football locker room,
And
a college football life.
Netflix does sports documentaries really, really well. It's a brilliant move by the SEC to give Netflix access. And look at the timing. It's August 5th. So camps will have started and you're still a couple of weeks out.
And
you're going to watch this and it's going to be centered around the fans.
And I think Netflix does a beautiful job of towing the line of like, hey, this is juicy content, but we're not disparaging our relationship with the
Mhm.
NFL. Well, like, I'm sure there are things that Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow and Jared Goff said during that time that the Lions or their teams or the NFL probably didn't want in the documentary. But there were also things where Kirk Cousins is like, yeah, I've been benched for 3 weeks and it's felt like 3 months. And like, that's a really like interesting, like wow moment where you're like, that matters. The fact that they can balance that where it's not just cookie cutter, but they're also not damaging relationships, I think is super impressive.
All right, Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 will stop by next in the last hour on a Tuesday. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, 44 days away from Arrowhead, a week away from Vegas. Arrowhead, Vegas, many consider the same. Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 joins us to kick off the last hour. Good morning, BC.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. Again, because of the time change, I don't know if we'll have you on your regular time slot. But before we go to a new venue, a new locale, do you have a favorite memory, an interview or a moment at the previous
Big Ten Media Days you've covered in Chicago or Indianapolis?
I like the mileage that people like Brunson and I got out of the fact that for a while it was in the ballroom of the Hilton where the last scene of The Fugitive was shot. And for about 3 or 4 years, sort of replaying the dialogue in the final scene from that movie. That's near the top. I guess when was it Corey Clement, the Wisconsin running back who called Nebraska the flip phone the one year?
Yes.
That caused quite a stir. I'm trying to think of the running back's name who committed, who we got. So was it Jordan Stevenson?
Jordan Stevenson.
He committed while I was there. Did an interview with him while I was in between stations at the Big Ten Media Days. Those are the ones that come to mind first and foremost. But the flip phone and fugitive memories, I guess for whatever reason, kind of jumped to the front.
And then where we had to speed things up on day 2 because they were having this very expensive luncheon for all the boosters there in Chicago.
Probably Gibson's.
Yes, and there was, of course, Nebraska had plane troubles one year during the Frost era and was late, which you could, I guess, maybe use an example for how the whole operation went. We should have known then, perhaps, and probably nobody's fault, but I remember that one. And so, yeah, there's things here and there. It's something probably that media gets more fired up about than the fans, honestly.
Sure.
But there is that tipping point, like, okay, we've made it, guys. The fall camp starts next week, and it actually, all the talk that we had in April, now it starts to feel like, okay, now we're really having the real talk here in July, and let's get it going.
I know that this is so much different from when Matt Rule has a regular press conference, in the Hawks Championship Center. But do you approach this any differently, just as a reporter? Are you looking for anything in particularly? Are you hoping that he touches on something maybe he wouldn't regularly touch on? Like, it just kind of just a curious, like, broadcasting question of, like, how much different is this for you as opposed to, regular events?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't think it's a lot different. I do think it's interesting hearing someone from a different region or that covers a different team pop over, and maybe they'll bring something that's more of a big picture question to the table. And Rule's very good on any big picture stuff with college football, obviously. So maybe you get a little bit more of that. But to me, and this is maybe a fault of mine, I'm such a nuts and bolts person whenever I'm over there, whether you're at the Hawks or whether you're in a different city. That's how I always kind of am with the program. And so I'm always interested in, if you're talking to Rule or one of the players off to the side, who's the true freshman who's kind of caught your eye sort of stuff. It's some of those knick-knack items that actually the players sometimes at these events will give some goods on. Watch out for this guy. He's going to matter. You'll get some of that stuff. And honestly, that's the stuff I end up probably that I think travels as well to our message board and the fan base that we write as any of the, what does Matt Rule think about whether it should be 12 or 16 teams? I don't know how much that stirs people, when you're a month from the season. I think there is sort of that, let's get inside this roster a little bit. And is there somebody, that's about to pop or something like that? And sometimes you get a clue or two at an event like this.
Hey, we've gone through over every position group, guys that need to pop, guys that are going to be a surprise. Then there's special teams where we've talked about the guy in charge ad nauseum and what a difference it'll be. But what do you really know about special teams? And I'm talking about the specialists. Isn't the place kicker job open, the punter job kind of open? And then we're not really sure about the return men, right?
No. We don't know a lot at all, and I don't know that we'll get any of that this week either. But that special teams has always been difficult to get information about almost until the opener. They're not going to usually tell you who are on all 4 core units or anything like that. Once in a while, you'll have we have going now, a kicker competition. There's been an air of mystery around that really since the season ended. It's just been strange, with the John Hull and Tristan Alvano have taken turns with injuries. They bring in Kyle Cunanan, and so obviously he, is a guy that you look at like, is he the one they're looking at first? The great thing about that position is you can put it down on paper who made how many kicks. It kind of just plays itself out, like who's getting the job done over the next month or two in practices, and that's who you go with. But you're right with the question. It's like there's all this excitement, like it's going to be better, it's going to be different, but we don't know like a lot of the specifics involved yet, aside from some sort of general things about what Mike Eckler prefers. Sure. I think what a lot of the hope is based off, and I know hope is a word that Mike Eckler doesn't love. It's the wishing, trying, hoping, as Archie Wilson said last night. Take those words out of the lexicon. But the hope is, if you look at what he did at 4 years, it was really all around success. It wasn't just like, okay, they had a great net punting average, but this part stunk. It was, they really were layered in how they did things very well. And so I think that's what you're just hoping is like a general upgrade across the board, and one particular thing lifts up another thing, and by the end of the day, you're like, man, it all got a little bit better.
I think when it comes to record predictions, the chalk is going to be 8-4. I think most people will land on 8-4, but there will be the two subgroups of 7-5 and 9-3. What do you think is easier to make an argument for? Nebraska going 7-5 or Nebraska going 9-3?
I think it's easier to make the 7-5 argument just because of history.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not fair, but I think that would be the one that kind of shifts it toward where you'd say, okay, I'll give the argument to the 7-5 guy instead of the 9-3, but it's close because I do think there's that 9-3 and above potential. I mean, I could broaden it out. I think it goes from like 6-6 to 10-2. I think, and that's why this season's so fascinating. I truly believe it can tip one way or the other that much. The schedule, I think, sets up well enough, but I would say 7-5 just because of what the past has shown us. But I'm a chalk guy. I mean, 8-4 is the one I've kind of settled on, and that's the boring answer to give. But that's sort of my prediction going into the season.
Hey, we've once it was announced that Lutovsky is going, we're like, okay, he's going to be a starter, but where is he going to be a starter on that offensive line?
I think the guard seems like it could be where it's pointed, but he did get a lot of work at right tackle in the spring, which makes it interesting. The guy not to sleep on, and we've said this on our board all off season because they kept bringing him up, is Tyler Kanak at right tackle. I don't count him out of the mix. Gunnar Gatula is could fit somewhere. The fact they have Corcoran and Prohaska coming back from their rehab. It's really interesting to me. Sometimes we've kind of talked about the O-line, I think, because we view it like it should be a strength and it's all this depth, like it's figured out. But I've always been like, it's not figured out. Like, I'm excited about what it can be, but it's always like had a couple question marks about who specifically is going where. And I remember Donovan Raiola in the spring said, you can work with that all the way up until that first game. It's not like they're going to set like August 12th as the deadline of like, this is where you are at. So they can be playing with the parts a little bit and figuring it out all the way up until that first week of the game. But I would guess Lutovsky on the inside and then one of the others at right tackle. But I'm open to that flipping too. Like I think they could experiment in that first week or so and go a different direction. But that's where I would guess right now.
Do you think Donovan Raiola is the assistant coach with the most pressure on him entering the season in terms of performance, specifically position groups?
I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know that it's a pressure, but like a new coach like Terry Braden, he walks into a room that had a lot of success last year, and you've immediately got a new kind of crew you're working with. Mm-hmm. Like I think I look at like him and Phil Simpson and I wouldn't say it's like any pressure that's greater than the others, but I think they put it on themselves like, hey, we're young coaches. We got to go get this with this new group of guys. And so I think there's probably been the biggest question mark sort of about the D-line and the pass rush and who all is like the main part of the rotation. So that's sort of where I go to first. I do think there's this chance when you go back to Raiola where he's built this up for like 3 years, watering the bamboo, as they say, and it looks pretty good on paper now. And this is really that moment where like you could stamp down, like, look at where it is now. Like, look at the actual results on the field. Look at this group that can run the ball in the key moment when you got to get a 3rd and 2, that is protecting your quarterback, giving him a little extra time. It's all been leading up to this sort of season.
Mm-hmm.
And that potential is there for him and his group to kind of make the statement like, we've been getting better and better. We've had a unified room for a long time. And now you're seeing the fruits of that to a point we haven't seen before. So I think that's where it comes in, where you actually could see the tree start to grow to its height that you more expected from the starter that they've been working toward for like the last 3 years.
Hey, one of the people that is going and good for Nebraska and good for the Big Ten, because there's a lot of quarterbacks that'll be in Vegas, will be Dylan. And it's really the first time that he has talked to the national media in that setting. He's talked to all of us, and it's not like he's going to say something that's going to end up on a bulletin board. But what do you think the line of questioning from national reporters towards Dylan will be like?
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with that. I mean, there's the national take is so stuck on like that he's Mahomes' clone and stuff like that. I think there's going to be sort of that angle that comes out. I don't know exactly how they get to that or where they go with it, but I feel like that's a part of it. I'm interested if they can come up with the original questions that haven't been thrown at him here. I don't know that they will. The good thing for Dylan is he's so well seasoned at handling questions at this point that I think he should thrive in that setting. And the thing that I would say that about him that stuck out the most to me this spring, besides he did truly change his body, but he also just had a comfort talking to us locally. Like I felt like last year, it wasn't bad by any means, but it just wasn't the same confidence behind the podium that he had this spring, where you could tell like, this is my team. I'm the leader of this team, and I'm going to present that to you guys and the state and this fan base. And so I expect him to project that in Las Vegas as well, no matter what comes at him.
After, your mark last week and then Sankey yesterday, do you think it's important that Tony Petitti has a good opening statement, that he responds to things and kind of stands his ground, much like your mark and Sankey did over the last 2 weeks during their opening remarks?
I mean, the thing I want the Big Ten to just stand their ground on is like, hey, get to 9 games, SEC. When's it going to happen? Like you always talk around that's like right down the block and you never get there. And the SEC always likes to do whatever it takes, it seems, to avoid that or pretend that their 8-game setup is actually harder than everybody else's. And I would just push back on that a little bit. And the Big Ten does not have to give in on whatever its playoff philosophy is. This doesn't have to move to 16 teams right away if the Big Ten doesn't want it to. And so I think you stand your ground. And like I said, the biggest thing is we want all the major conferences to have an even playing field with how many league games they're playing. And let's start there. And then we can really talk about what the playoffs are, or what sort of the non-con schedules look like with games like Nebraska, Tennessee, that sort of stuff. So that's the thing. If I'm Petitti, that I stand tall on, because I feel like that's probably the common thought throughout most of the leaders in the Big Ten.
Let's stick with the non-con. I'm going to read off 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the next 5 years of a Big Ten team's non-con schedule. You can attack it as a fan of the sport and also as a media member. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. Next year, Colorado State, Western Kentucky. 27, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, UMass. 28, Austin Peay, Eastern Michigan.
29, Ball State, Eastern Michigan, Western Kentucky. That is the next 5 years of Indiana's non-con schedule.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great for a fan, but the other part is I get it. Like, I get why, like, the understanding of guys leading programs is I'm not going to get enough bang for my buck for risking it for a September non-con game. And I'm ultimately, and this program is ultimately judged by, are you like in the playoff conversation come November? So whatever you think gives you the best chance for that. And if it means you set yourself up with, I call it the old K-State Bill Snyder sort of scheduling, where you keep your nose clean and people kind of make their jokes about you, but hey, you're 5-0 on October 8th or whatever, and College Game Day is coming to your campus, that stuff tends to get forgotten once you get to October if you're undefeated or whatever. And there'll be a joke here or there, but you can take that. And that's where I go back to previous point. I've been wanting the SEC to get to 9 conference games because I think that opens up the opportunity for that marquee non-con crossover. Once you get to that point, you can actually begin those discussions. That's why I've not always thought like the 4-4-2-2-1 was like just like beyond where you could shoot arrows at it. I think there's issues with it, but I thought it was the best format I've heard that could possibly get the SEC to 9 games, get you to the crossover, and that's what I ultimately want the most. So that's why when I hear the SEC kind of going, we want the 5+11, it's like, man, we're just not going to get to what I'm hoping for, and non-con schedules are going to continue to kind of suffer for it.
And that's unfortunate, as us as fans will as well. But until somebody gets dinged, why would you do it? I mean, why would you put yourself in harm's way, as you were alluding to? BC, as always, we appreciate it. Safe travels out to Vegas. We'll touch base at some point next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
That's Brian Christopherson. I mean, Indiana is not there to get the benefit of the doubt, but remember this, and this is why I say just get in the tournament. Find a way to get into the tournament, and then usually the best team over the course of the tournament wins. Michigan did not play a ranked opponent until the second week of November, the year they won the Natty.
Yeah.
Indiana went until first week of November this past year, not a single game against a 500-plus team.
We're at the point now for coaches, your tenure will be judged on whether or not you make the college football playoff and how regularly you do that. If you don't have to play tough teams in order to do that during your non-con, why would you?
Yeah. So this is the Penn State. I alluded to this stat way early in the show. They started the year in the non-con. Teams were combined 13-25. Kent State was 0-12. Last 3 games last year, Penn State played in November. The last 3, the Big Ten teams were combined 13-24, and 4 of their conference road opponents, 3 had a losing record, and the one that didn't was 7-6. But Penn State gets the benefit of the doubt. And they also made the Big Ten championship game, and then they got in the tournament.
It's also balancing, like, you don't want to go into the college football playoff not have playing any good teams, but you also don't want to go through Oklahoma. Like, look at Oklahoma's schedule last year and the murderer's row that they had to go through. Even if they won 8 games, by the time they got to the postseason, you were like, this team is beat up, this to smithereens, because they have to play high-level football all the time. If you don't have to play good teams, don't play good teams.
All right, when we come back, free Teddy Bridgewater today on 1620 The Zone.
Hello, darling. Join the VIP club. Sign up for 1620, the email. You'll be the first to know all the exciting content that's happening right here on 1620 The Zone, including sports news, because it's a sports station, contests. We have some damn good ones coming up, promotions, and more. Sign up today at 1620thezone.com. Give us all your personal info.
All right, welcome to List Week.
Yes.
Scanning the television stations. We've all hit list week, so that means football must be around the corner.
Hell yeah.
Also around the corner, if you are looking to purchase tickets to the Minnesota-Nebraska game.
Okay.
Today,
Is
for
there
their
a catch?
season ticket holders and their Gopher Score members, tickets go on sale, and then whatever is left over will go on sale on Thursday at 9 a.m. I was looking for prices. I do not see prices on the website. So public sale of Gopher season tickets, 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Big fan.
A great schedule this year for the Gophers.
Big fan of.
I want to go up to that Minnesota game this year.
You should. Paul McCartney's there. The Vikings are home.
I'm not a well-traveled sport fan.
You're
Like,
young.
I really haven't been to that many stadiums and that many cities.
I told you you're
Been able to
young. This is where you
experience those
start
things,
your ballpark
you know?
list.
I don't know.
You're
You
going to
got a
do
real-
it.
Yesterday was a wake-up call when Gary just was rattling off Ed Reed and Warren Sapp and all the incredible games and players that he saw. And I was like, yeah, the third-round pick for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2022 was a pretty damn good football
There is
player.
an age difference here, and he was covering big-time games.
You know, the 17th overall pick of the 2023 draft, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I saw him to have 240 yards.
Yeah.
You know, I did that. But no, Gary's got the greatest players of all time and greatest venues.
Have you been following the story out of Miami with Teddy Bridgewater?
Yes, I have been, which is
So he's a martyr and a cheater. That's not easy to do.
So
did Jesus do that?
I know.
Did he do? Was he able to get the daily double?
Maybe it pertains to Notre Dame recruiting, but I don't think in his life. I don't know. I'm not well versed on my Bible.
Jesus recruited for Notre Dame.
Jesus has been
Hey,
doing great stuff for Notre Dame.
he has.
recently. They've
He
been on
has.
one hell of a run ever since.
Is that what we're calling Marcus Freeman nowadays?
No. He's in cahoots.
You guys have
Jesus-
jumped the shark.
Jesus got a little upset that they stopped doing the pregame prayer. That Brian Kelly stopped, having the team go to church.
That happens when you let a kid
before,
fall off a
and then all
scaffold.
of a sudden it's just like they're treading water, and then as soon as Freeman brings it back, they're just back
Hell
on
yes,
top.
Our Lady of
Now,
Victory,
they-
pray for us.
They had to pay for their sins, and lose to Marshall and Stanford and Boston College, but in Louisville on the road in a ranked game, when
Should
they
have
had a
watched the
ton of
93
momentum,
game.
but they're back on top.
Yeah.
Jesus and Notre Dame, the coolest cats.
A winning combination.
Absolutely.
Yes. Faith,
Now,
family, and football.
I know enough about high school football, and I know enough about. I know that Florida's incredibly competitive, and
They
that
got dudes.
when I read the headline, Teddy Bridgewater got suspended for doing all of these things, and a lot of people were on Teddy's side.
He's Coach Teddy now, right?
One of my thoughts was, well, they definitely kind of like he probably did some things that we would be considered nice, and people tried hammering him on that, like nitpicking the rules to try and get him in trouble. But then I also was like, there might be an instance or two where he legitimately probably like cheated or did something he wasn't supposed to, and then they are getting him on that too.
Ask for
Yeah.
forgiveness.
So
I'm with you. So Teddy Bridgewater is just won a state championship at Miami Northwestern.
Hell yes.
He is a legend in the Liberty City area of Miami. Teddy Bridgewater is like walks on water. He's that big that he got out of there. He played football in college and he went off to the NFL and he's come back. And so he's coaching at Miami Northwestern and they won the state championship in their class last year. But he has been suspended by his high school. And this is where he went to high school.
Who hasn't been?
Crazy.
He gave what they deem impermissible benefits to players. Now, there are rules, and just because you're doing it out of the goodwill of your heart, there are some rules. And I wonder, as I learned more about the story yesterday, if there is more to this, but it is crazy to think. And this is essentially what he did. He was not paying like cash to players. He was not like, you know what, if you score a touchdown, I'm going to give this to you. He acknowledged that he covered transportation, meals, and recovery-related costs this past year out of his own pocket. And he is he's the head coach. He's essentially kind of a volunteer. And you hear stories about teachers who buy supplies for their classroom because they work at maybe a school that cannot afford it and they want to take care of their students. So out of the goodwill of their heart, that you're not going to be suspended for that.
No.
But here's the crazy thing about what he did. And I know there are rules out there because they try and have some parameters and, guys paying out of their own pocket if he has the means.
Sure.
At some point, you have to go, hey, are you guys ever going to help me? And you stop paying out of your own pocket. So the people like Teddy Bridgewater that are helping young men get to where they want to go, they're no longer around. What if a parent did this? Instead of a coach, what if a parent took care of the team's transportation and he was getting Ubers and stuff, and he was taking care of post-game meals and any recovery-related stuff or paying for the team to go to camps?
Yeah.
What if a parent was doing that instead of a coach? Would that be allowed?
Maybe you could do it through a money
I don't
laundering
know
deal.
if
No,
I don't think-
just like you have let's say you have a wealthy parent and he realizes that, man, these kids deserve the same opportunity and I got some income and I can take care of them.
I have
I'm
no
taking
problem
care of
with
the
it.
whole team. If it's a parent, I think it's looked at differently
That's-
from the coach, right?
That's been going on forever in travel hockey. Like that has been a travel hockey kind of staple at this point of having some richer parents on your team
Well, you said it costs money to do
help
it.
cover the tournament cost, who might help cover the hotel cost, who, like I know parents who have bought buses for when teams go, 2 or 3 hours out of the way. I personally have been benefited of like a parent like did like paid in part for some of my personal training because his son, he was paying for his son's personal training. You get a discount if you bring another kid. Hey, don't worry, Matt, you can come to this session, when you can do that. And so that's been, I don't know if this hasn't been going on in football, but in hockey, it has been a consistent thing. And there was never, like, honestly, it's never a problem with it. If anything, it brought the team closer together. Right?
I know a couple of high school programs here in the area that are in some schools where football is not as big a deal, and
Just trying to help make
and
people's
there
lives
are a
better.
couple of head coaches that I know that out of their own pocket have helped. Now,
Yeah.
this is where I think they are getting him. So he went on social media and he acknowledged that he covered the transportation, the meals, and the recovery. I think where he got in trouble, and this might be where the suspension is he encouraged the supporters to contribute financially.
Yeah.
So those expenses wouldn't solely fall on him. That may be where he got sideways.
I think that I'd like to believe that
Free
he wasn't
Teddy.
just doing all of these things and some hater in his athletic department was like, hey, you're suspended.
There's always a
like,
tad foot.
I know there could be.
I
There could
believe
be.
it's probably a hater of a rival school.
Yeah. That could be. That could
I
be
mean,
it too.
Down there, they're turning. It's just like the SEC. They're turning
So-
schools in right and left.
So I don't have the basis to comment, and I've done the research. Like there hasn't been hey, actually Teddy has been doing this. It's been a lot of why is Teddy getting punished. But I definitely there probably is something that he did that wasn't right, that wasn't correct. At the same time,
won.
we do need more people who are just like, if it's your money, man. I've always said that it's your money. If you want to spend your money how you want to spend your money. And if that's paying for Ubers and paying for training and paying for recovery and investing in high school sports, do it. That's your prerogative.
Do high schools still have booster clubs? Can't you
So
just funnel money through a booster club?
So mine does, but mine is private.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and there are personal scholarships that are given out through private schools, and that you can donate to, and then, they end up paying for. Now, it's not in Illinois, and that's where I'm most familiar with it. It's pay for, like, you can't just give them money, but you can cover their entirety of their school costs where they don't have to get a thing. They can't get you can't just pay them 10 grand to pay them 10 grand. That has to go toward their education. At least that's how it was when I was there. But booster clubs, I get asked to donate to a booster club every month.
All right. So this is now prepare yourself here because I know where he's going.
Yeah.
They are somebody that competes with this high school. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. How are
I
you?
knew once I started down this path
You saw the bad
that
signal.
you would get a little bit fired up. So what is going on?
I'm not. First of all, I'm not fired up.
Okay.
Things Gary, you lived here, and maybe for lack of better terms, it's the Wild West down here. Am I right or wrong?
True. No, you're absolutely right when it comes to high school football.
Where Teddy went wrong is he admitted that he himself gave admissible benefits. I can give a kid a ride home. There's nothing wrong with that. I can't buy a kid a meal.
Even out of the goodness of even out of the goodness of your heart, for knowing that kid's going to leave practice and he's going to go home and there won't be any food on the table.
When I was at Northport, I bought 100 meals. I'm not going to deny it because Northport is a little different community than Venice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I bought kids McDonald's. It is what it is. But there was just a coach up here at Booker got let go. He was giving kids gas cards. That's an admissible benefit. The way Teddy could have got around it, you have everybody donate to your booster club or your touchdown club. We have a fishing tournament. We have a golf tournament. We do helmet shakes. We have great boosters. If that money goes to the booster club, that pays for our pregame meals. That pays for our transportation. That pays for our postgame meals. It pays for the hotel when we go to the state championship. You have to do it through the booster club. Coach Peacock cannot give a kid a direct benefit, if that makes sense.
Can Teddy himself donate to the booster club?
Well, that's a fine line because even though he's a volunteer, he's still the head coach.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, he could, as alumni, probably donate to the booster club, yes. But where he messed up is he said that he spent personally $10,000 on rides for kids home. Now, where that causes trouble is Miami Central's not giving kids $10,000 worth of Uber rides. So that ruffled feathers. Now, if Teddy would have went behind the scenes and listen, I like Teddy. I've met him a few times. Great dude. But that's the thing. You can't do it. I can't take money out of my personal bank account and give it to a kid in any way, shape, or form. That's technically buying a meal. That's an Uber ride. That's anything that he's getting because he's on the football team.
What if he was just a parent?
Well, that's a little different. And I don't know. I mean, I think giving it directly to the kid is where he got in trouble.
Okay.
If a parent said, hey, here's $10,000 for the booster club, nothing wrong with that. But him doing it directly to the kid on an individual basis is where he got in trouble.
What do you think? What do you think is the end game in this?
I think because it's cutthroat down here, Gary, that there's probably going to be some sort of suspension. Now, we will see them in week 3, and we're kind of in, we don't think Teddy's going to be there for week 3 because I think he's going to get some games. Guys have got 5-6 games for less.
Do you think that him buying Uber rides and buying meals is a massive advantage for him in his school that then kind of correlates to the field?
Down there, yes.
Yeah, because of where it's a very much a poor school.
Now,
that's got an NFL guy as their head coach. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
I will tell you. I'm sorry. Gary,
No, go ahead.
They are loaded this year. I think I sent you that article, Gary, and it talked about the transfers they had.
Yeah.
They are absolutely loaded. And you know what? That may have something to do with it. I mean, who knows? We get picked on a lot in this area because we get a lot of kids. Coach Peacock has that famous line, we don't recruit, we recruit in December when we're on TV. They just won a state championship. And, if this stuff's coming with it, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Hey, well, one final one here. We gotta get to a break. I want to go back to something. You as a coach, okay, you are coaching a player and you know that when he goes home at night, there's not going to be any food. You can't stop by McDonald's and take care of a meal while you're driving him home because he has no way to get home. The bus isn't running. No one's coming to pick him up. He doesn't have a bike. You can't do that as a coach.
By the letter of the law, no, Gary. I mean, go back to 2000. Eric Couch got a ham and cheese sandwich, and it turned into a big to-do.
Yeah,
that just seems wrong.
It don't make sense. But I'm gonna tell you what. I will feed a kid, but I'm not going to spend $10,000 in Uber rides. That's a far cry.
Yeah. Dave, I knew once I started this, I would perk up. I appreciate the insight. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
It's a great question, and like the dynamics of just high school football now and high school sports and how the money works is absolutely fascinating to me.
I mean, I know what happens in this town. I mean, just coaches out of the goodness of their heart, they know that at 6:00 when that kid goes home, there's no food, and they won't be able to eat until they come back to school the next morning to have the breakfast when they get to school.
Just trying to make people's lives better. Trying to give them a chance.
Now, is it used as recruiting for that school?
Well,
they've always been really good. They're in it's a very, very poor, school, but
$10,000 in Uber, maybe, but I don't think a kid's coming to my school because I'm like, hey, man, when I drive you home, I'll get you Burger King.
Get an Uber from Arrowhead after the Nebraska game. It might run you close to $10,000.
We'll come back and put a wrap on this Tuesday edition of 1620 The Zone.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
There's a good question on the text about this conversation is because this has happened quite a bit around here. What about kids that live with coaches?
I mean, if the
Help you
kid
get to the state championship game
in
high school basketball, right?
If the kid doesn't have
How you
another
doing,
place,
Fred?
Yeah. I mean, if the kid doesn't have a place to live, then and the coach is willing to provide that place to live, then yeah, we can't punish that. We can't just throw, hey, sorry, I'm your coach. I'm gonna have to throw you to the streets and not allow you a place to sleep. Like there are some things that and it's a good conversation to have about Teddy Bridgewater because there are some things that he might have done that actually broken the rules and you could actually use as recruiting tools. But then there are actual good human things that he did that he shouldn't be punished for. And it's just kind of finding that balance and finding that line.
Here is Andrew on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty petty that they're going after him for stuff like that. And what do you think happens in Texas or California, those bigger states where high school football is everything? I guarantee you there's worse stuff going on than that.
Yeah, I also imagine
For
if
them to get petty.
Yeah, I imagine if his name is not Teddy Bridgewater.
I know Bud Kilmer.
This probably doesn't come to the forefront as quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's a point where you have to look out. A guy's doing good. He's using kindness, and he's trying to help people get out of maybe a bad situation or give them a chance to do something.
Yep.
That's just really annoying. But that's just my rant.
Oh, go ahead.
We need more people like him.
Yeah, I wonder how much more of the story is here if this will come out. I hope, sometimes people that have resources that coach or teach, as you know, as a teacher, and you're buying supplies for your classroom because your district doesn't have the means to supply, but you do, and you do it because you don't want your kids to suffer. How far down do you get that you have the resources, but it's a hassle to do it all the time, and you're not getting any support, and you just say, "Hey, I got to move on."
Well, I worked in North Omaha and South Omaha as a teacher, and cut that salary in half. What teachers get paid, that they buy stuff for the classroom, or they buy stuff for kids, or they, stuff like that. So. Why not, if you got it, help a brother out?
Hey, let me quickly ask you about the buying supplies for a classroom, because I know some teachers here locally that's what they do. Is that frowned upon from your administration or encouraged?
They have a budget and they have to keep towards it, and you'll get the basic stuff that you need, but anything outside, it's pretty much. I'll use an example, like markers. There are many different type of markers out there, but they'll buy markers. But if you wanted to buy, let's say little kids like those ones that smell, I can't think of their name or whatever. And if you want to buy those and put a smiley face on a kid's paper and see the smile on their face, that's out of your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, quick question. Just when you did like the Halloween parties or Christmas parties, like in the candy and the streamers and everything like that, would that be out of your pocket, or was that out of the...
That would be out of my pocket or out of the other teacher's pocket. I mean, and part of that, I think, is done because certain allergies with kids, and they can't. I mean, they'll buy like juice boxes or something like that. But if you wanted to do, let's say, a Christmas present for them or something at the end, that's out of your pocket.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for the insight. Thank you.
It's true.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, guys.
All right. All right, we got to put a wrap on this show. Jimmy is going away for a while.
Yes, for a long while.
Doing 6 to 10. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
There is a new addition that is on the way to the Chavez family.
A puppy.
No.
You're gonna have a human that is going to join a puppy. So for your lovely wife, Alicia, good luck.
Yeah, my man.
Congratulations. Hope all goes well.
We
and-
have a playlist for the birth. You got our Tunnel Walk. We got our Can You Feel It? We got our Sirius. We got our Inner Sandman. We got our Timmy Trumpet. We got our Sandstorm.
How about Joker and the Thief, baby?
Well, that'll be,
out of a
to get us
timeout?
going. Yeah. And then we're going to have Sebastian the Ibis with a fire extinguisher just come and just spray. We have smoke machine in the hospital.
All right,
All the
so-
pyro in the world.
So for people that Jimmy will be away on maternity leave, paternity leave, whatever.
Whatever it's called. Guess what day I come back?
What day?
August 28th. So there's your countdown.
Wow. All right.
That's easy. Make it really easy.
This
now.
time of the year sucks in sports. I'll see you on August 28th.
So good luck to the family. And when we have a new edition and you are ready to share it, we'll share it with our listeners.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Hope she likes me.
All right. ALNL tonight.
NL, baby.
NL.
NL, baby.
Hey.
I know the records. I know the AL has won X amount of the last. Give me the NL.
My team was an NL team
PDA
forever,
for
so I still
PCA.
think NL.
I like, when you have O'Hearn, Baez, and Torres are in your starting lineup, I like the National League. I just want Skeens against Judge and Raleigh.
I want.
That's what I want tonight. And I want the Miz to pitch because that is the most given of tonight is that Mizorowski will pitch.
I hate
Has
it.
to.
I hate his nickname because there's already a Miz in my life. I don't need another Miz in my life. I think Skeens is going to strike.
Nobody
everybody
beats
out.
the
It's gonna
Miz.
be great.
Wait, that's the Wiz.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 with another edition of Gary and Matt.
See you later, boys.
On 1620 The Zone.